Oh, yeah.
You did.
I was a rider, Nate. I was a rider,
Right.
really.
All right, we're live. What's up, everybody? We're back with season 2 of the Playmaker podcast. This is going to be an NFL in-depth, deep dive. You're going to hear from each one of the guys. We're going to have a couple more people joining us here shortly. They're just going to be a few minutes late or a half hour late, whatever it may be. We're going to have Guns in here. We're going to have Brady in here. We got Mr. Bus Justin Fields jersey down there waving in the realms. But we're gonna go team by team. We're gonna discuss. We're gonna talk about the likes of or the hates of Justin Fields per se and everybody else. So you're gonna hear from each person. We're gonna give you guys our predictions on records. We're gonna do it all. Let me make sure I share this out real quick. I just want to start out by, hey, Nate, go around the horn. Nate, Balls, introduce yourself. Nate, how you been, man? What's going on? Introduce yourself. Where can they find you on the social media platforms, and how the hell you been?
Hey, glad to be back. We got season 2 of the podcast. Social media wise, you can find me at The Bull Nate. Pretty much all the platforms, same thing. Also, my YouTube channel is The Bull Nate as well, so you can find me on there. Subscribe to me as well. Pretty much what we're doing, just getting ready for the season. Just trying to, get right. Make sure, all the fantasy leagues that I joined recently. I did those drafts, so I'm in a bunch of those. So it's gonna be a good year. It's gonna be a good year, I think.
Hell yeah, Balls. What's up with you, man? How the hell are you doing?
Good, brother. Good. Just doing some things personally for myself. Actually going to start up the YouTube channel on Sunday. If you guys are interested, tune in. It'll be pretty neat to follow along. So you'll see me share it out. You can find me on Twitter, though. That's where I do all my hobby stuff at mballsley at Twitter. But looking forward to season 2. A little bit of smack talk, a little bit of predictions, and just some good vibes.
Awesome. And so, guys, basically what we're going to do here is we are going to literally, like I kind of explained, we're just going to go team by team. So we're going to start on the AFC side. We're literally just we'll start with probably Cincinnati here. And we'll just get right into it. And we're going to discuss kind of who we see as bust, sleepers, etc., who the rookies are that we see stand out, who we think maybe some people are talking about on some of these teams that we're not maybe seeing the same thing. Once we roll through every team by team, then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to do the week 1 matchups, and we're going to put a little bet side in there as well. And that's kind of a big thing Nate's been really drilling on. He actually hit a decent what was it? How many things you put together in that parlay?
Oh yeah. It was like a 5-team parlay for college football.
Okay. Yeah, nice. So, but yeah. And Balls, make sure you guys follow both these guys. Brady will be joining us here shortly. He had something going on. He's going to be running late. And Guns is supposed to be on here as well. So we should have a full panel tonight. They'll just kind of slowly dive in. So I'm just going to pull something up on the screen real quick. So we're going to start with the AFC North. We're going to pretty much do this in order of this, but we're going to go AFC down. Then we'll drop to the NFC. So the first team that's going to be on our radar for this podcast to start season 2 off to get into the NFL deep dive is going to be those Cincinnati Bengals, who came out of nowhere last year, right? And kind of surprised a lot of people, right? Joe Burrow, continued his magic that he did in LSU, winning a national championship, getting into Cincy, getting hurt that first season, not being able to play, coming back strong last year, and literally putting on a show with Jamar Chase, Jamar, you rip him, Jamar, we love him, T. Higgins, that defense, Evan Fearson, the young kicker who's just a savage, who just who hit that game winner, right, against KC to advance, who flipped the tide. Because remember what I was talking about, I kept riding those numbers, right? What did I say? We were talking about that week before the game, and I said, if it comes down to the coin flip, what was it, 8 or 9 out of 10 times, it was always the team that won the coin flip, and KC got it, and we thought for sure it was doomed because it was like a 93% win, and the Cincinnati went out and took it from them. So kind of slapped KC in the face, if you will. So guys, I just want to hear from you. Nate, I want to hear from you first. So when you think about Cincinnati right now, when you think about the Bengals, you think about what they did last season. Where do you see them now? Are they progressing? Are they degressing? What do you feel we're going to see, or what's going to come out of these guys this season? Are they going to be kind of sitting in the same spot? Do you think they can push to the bowl? Talk to me.
Honestly, I think they'll probably be in the same kind of boat as they were last year because obviously they still got a great offense with Burrow. Joe Mixon had a great season. Obviously, got Chase, you got T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. I know they picked up Hayden Hurst, so he should be a solid pickup. And then I know they signed Alex Kappa, the guard from Tampa, so that's good for the old line because obviously the big I guess like weakness or criticism of the Bengals was the offensive line. So
yeah,
put up a little bit. Defensive wise, the front four is pretty solid. I know they picked up Trey Henderson I think last year, so he was very good for them. Only thing that really scares me is their corners. I don't think they have really great corners on there, so that's probably really the only thing that probably scares me really. But they're probably gonna get double-digit wins just strictly off just being able to just outscore a lot of teams. So I can never see them probably getting like a possibly a top 3 seed in the AFC.
So I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to ask Balls this. Where do you see Joey Shiesty, Joe Burrow this season? Does he fit in the top 5? Does he fit in the top 10? Where are you seeing him land? Where do you see him end? Is he beyond the top 10? Is he outside of the top 10? Where do you see him this year with all the movement and all the changes that have happened in this offseason? Receivers, running backs, I mean, these offensive there's been dramatic change, guys. Like, it's crazy. There's probably been more movement this season, in my opinion, than many seasons in past. So it's crazy. So where do you see him? Is he top 10? Is he top 15? Where does he land?
I probably definitely see him top 10 for sure. Like, that definitely like another year with the same offense, the same personnel. So he's going to get even more comfortable with Jamar Chase, with T. Higgins, with Tyler Boyd, with Joe Mixon. And like I said, like the show Dawson line. So I definitely see him top 10. He might push top 5 maybe by the end of the year, but he's definitely top 10 for sure.
Okay. All right, Balls, let's roll it into you, man. I think Nate gave us some good insight, kind of discussed on where he's at. Is there anybody that sticks out? You see any sleepers in Cincinnati?
I mean, for Cincinnati, if I'm going to stick to one thing, and I know it's beating a dead horse, but it's got to be that offensive line. I mean, they played Tennessee in the postseason, and Tennessee had, 10 sacks against Joey B? That's not sustainable, man. They just so happened to catch Burrow at his hottest to carry them into the Super Bowl at that time.
Yep.
I'm still high on Joey B. I'm higher on Burrow than I am on Herbert, which wow. I know we'll get to that side, but I just think he's got something in him, man. And it went back to LSU. It went back to being, he's that guy. And once he takes over a team, I love to see that. Herbert might take that step this year, but right now I put Burrow in the top 8 because I feel like, man, there's been a lot of movement at the QB position. It's kind of about settling out. But if he gets better protection, I mean, his number 3 receiver, we're talking there's T. Higgins. Tyler Boyd is his 3. I mean, come on, man. That's a solid – that might be the best receiver group in the NFL. I
agree.
So, I mean, just to put him – I think he only gets better. He doesn't turn the ball over. He is very, very good. So protect him, keep him upright. Some of that's coaching, some of that's talent. They went out and did that. So right. I'm high on the Bengals this year.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, I think if we were to bring it back to me, then I would say that Cincinnati. I don't know that I see them. I see them still in the playoffs. I don't see it. I don't really. I'm not trying to say that I'm trying to see much regression. I just think that it's hard for. I see Joey B having more progression as far as just as a player. Overall numbers, completion percentages, things of that nature, and a lot of that's going to allude to that, like you said, the offensive line that he has, the protection that's there, and I see him making even less mistakes this season. But I also think that it's going to be very difficult, and you see it. We just see how these teams have been built, and you touch on it, Balls. You say the might be the best top 3 receiving core in the NFL, and that could be true. Is their defense 100% there? I mean, they're good, but is that going to be an issue? Is that going to be a problem? Is it going to be one of these things where it's like putting up points, but the offense they're playing is coming back and putting up points, and it's going to be kind of who has the ball last these games and who wins and putting in the power? I don't know. There's just it's hard for me to envision them being exactly where they were last year or, winning it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's going to be a couple teams that maybe come out a little bit stronger. And again, there's always surprises, right? The Bengals were one of the biggest surprise teams of this last season. I mean, you can't deny that. So can they do it again? I mean, it's not going to be a surprise if they do it because they are a strong, tough team. But is it going to happen? Going back to Joe Burrow, what I asked you guys on, I would say yes. I probably agree with Balls that he's probably somewhere around that 8, maybe 8, 9, 10-ish quarterback is where I would see him probably stand or land. And we'll get into the Herbert, Burrows, Mahomes, all that stuff, Josh Allen's of the world. And we'll kind of do some quarterback comparisons later and how we see things. But, yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of where I stand. That's kind of where I'm at. Is there anything else you guys want to hit on with Cincinnati, or we want to move on to the Cleveland Brownies?
I just want to say I miss Brady because unless, Nate, you know this, do they still have Eli Apple as their starting corner?
Yeah.
He is there. Didn't they draft somebody in the first round, though, a cornerback possibly?
I think
unless I'm
Brady
thinking
would be our guy looking it up right now.
I know that Brady. We missed you early. We missed you early, Brady. It's all good. I'm putting Nate on the spot, and I hate to do it. That's my only other question is they picked on Eli Apple in the postseason last year, so they had to upgrade that cornerback position. I thought they took somebody in the first round.
I think they did too, but I can't think of who it was.
I can't think of the name.
Chad knows or can pull it up too while we don't have Brady on here yet.
But we'll transition. We can move there. That would be my big question. Eli Apple.
Okay. Yeah. So one thing before we go to Cleveland, Bengals also, Fester says, Bengals also got a little lucky last year with Lamar getting hurt and Big Ben being on the back end of his career. Burrow should continue to progress, just won't be as easy. And that's kind of Fester. I think that's exactly. I think me and you are kind of on the same page here when I say, like, I feel like Burrow's going to progress. I feel like he's going to be a better player numbers wise, overall wise. I just don't think I see the team being where they were or where they're at. I just, you know what I mean? I think they're contending, like they're in the playoffs, but I don't know that I can see them getting all the way there. All right, so moving on. We got the back rubbing, massaging, Cleveland kicking, whatever Browns. We got Watson, we got Hunt, we got the whole crew over there on watch. Like they're like they must be informants or something in the NFL because we got some craziness going on over in Cleveland. Got to stir it up. Got to get a little smile, a little crack with our boys here. All right, so here we go. Cleveland. All right, we got Watson. He's going to be taking a suspension. He's going to be out. We got Jacoby Brissett or whatever his name is, who actually he's always been a decent like backup quarterback or a guy to kind of play that QB1 role when someone gets hurt or someone's in trouble or whatever. So we got that going on. We might have one of the better 1-2 punches at running back, right? With Mr. Chubb. You're getting a little chubby now, aren't you? Talking some football, and then Mr. Hunt. So we got that going for us. Now we also got the receiver. We got the receivers, which Landry. Landry left, right, or is Landry still there?
Yeah, Landry. He's on the Saints.
Yep, Saints. He went to the Saints, and we got David Bell. David Bell.
You got Amari Cooper. They traded for Amari Cooper.
David Bell. David Njoku, the tight end, who I feel a lot of people are talking about. They think is going to progress this year a little bit. Offensive line, I don't know, Balls. Do you know much on their line as far as in Cleveland? I mean, pretty solid. I mean, they always seem to have a pretty good running game. They don't seem to struggle ever in that category, which I haven't really looked and drilled into their offensive line that much. But I would think that They're up there. They're decent. Defensively, I mean, pretty solid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty solid.
Yep.
So when you're looking at Cleveland as a whole, when you're looking at the Browns right now, where are their holes at? Like, where do you see them suspect? Where do you see it being an issue to where they can't be a contending team? And let's not say it's because they signed Watson and lost him for most of the season. Because, yeah, it's huge. I mean, I honestly, I feel like Watson is going to be a stud. I think he's going to be big. Guns ain't gonna make, but it's all right. I kind of figured he probably had something come up. So Brady will be joining us in a little bit. If anybody else wants to join us, you can just let me know. We can send you a link. But anyway, Jacoby. He's probably not a guy that's going to get you to a Super Bowl, right? But can he? How well can Jacoby lead this team until Watson gets back at the end of the season?
Well, and I think my answer to this is what's the biggest key for them, and it's their run game this year.
Yep.
If they cannot run the ball, which if I'm a defense, who at wide receiver? It's the run game and your wide receivers. Who's going to make a play in the wide receiver core for them, for the Browns, besides Amari Cooper? Right. You're betting very heavy on David Njoku. I'm very high on David Njoku. Peoples-Jones, though, does that?
Yeah.
I mean,
what about this Bell kid, though? Like, I haven't seen enough reports on him, but what about this David Bell?
Here's the thing. We're not going to get a true evaluation until they have their true quarterback in there, which sucks.
Yeah,
Jacoby Brissett is a vet. He's going to do a great job. But it comes down to that running game. They're going to have to run the ball. Between the two backs, those two backs are going to have 36 carries. And who's the other dude?
You talking about Dearness Johnson?
Johnson, yeah. Johnson showed out last year too. So in spot carries and stuff like that he gets, he might be big too, especially, Hunt goes down or somebody goes down. They've got a really good running back core. So, I mean, that run game last year, I think, was top 5 in the NFL. I expect it to be top 5 again. And it should be because they need to be able to establish the run early and often. They got to be that physical team to keep games close and to let that defensive line go to work because you still got Clowney and you still got Myles Garrett who, Myles Garrett he hasn't won one, but he's defensive NFL MVP caliber every year,
Right.
He's very capable of winning that award. Yeah. So for me, I mean, it like you said, it's got to come down to who's going to step up at that wide receiver too if that run game ain't going to happen. Because Cooper's going to face the best DB.
Oh yeah,
he's getting Minka
double too.
He's getting Minka with the safety over the top because why wouldn't you?
Right.
So, and I mean, they've got to have that number 2 wide receiver step up.
Yeah, and Fester also brings up Denzel Ward, right? Yeah, they got that elite. They got an elite corner as well. So, I mean, they have a solid. They do have a solid defense, and I think the real question here, in my opinion, with Cleveland, is kind of like what we're saying. You're like Ball says, you're not going to see this true team until you have their actual true quarterback in there. Yep. What can Jacoby Brissett bring to the team? How well and what position can he lead this team to when Watson can get back from his suspension and take over and play?
Ooh.
That's what's going to be the question, I think, for Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, pretty much like Brissett, he just got to be a game manager. He's got to be a guy that just don't turn the ball over. Just put the team in enough position for where like you can keep the game close because like Ball said, the Browns gonna definitely have to rely on this run game. They're not gonna be able to run the ball because pretty much if you're defense, you're gonna stack the box, and then you're gonna make sure that Amari Cooper's double because you're gonna be okay. The Browns gonna run the ball, and obviously Amari Cooper's their best receiver. So you're gonna force Brissett to throw it to Peoples-Jones, to throw it to Bell, to throw it to Andrew Schwartz, and have those guys try beating them. So, but but like I said, like Brissett, he's a vet, so he's gonna go in. He's gonna be that leader. He's gonna be solid. But yeah,
And he's good. He's going to be that quarterback that he's probably not going to take a lot of big risks, a lot of big gambles. And that goes back to, and he doesn't need to. That goes back to him, like you said, like trying to manage the games, somehow come out with the win. Let his running backs kind of do the work. Probably shorter pass game, probably not deep threat a lot or very often. Time management, like you said, like just kill clock, run game, beat them the old school way, right? Popping them in the face with the run game, and let the defense kind of hold them back on points. So I think we're all pretty close to an agreement here with the Cleveland Browns. So let's.
Here's my question though. Yeah. Watson's out 10 games, right?
Yeah.
Say for example, Brissett catches lightning in a bottle, and they go 7-3. It's week 11. Are you sitting Jacoby Brissett for Deshaun Watson when he comes back?
Ooh, I mean, to be honest, probably. And the big reason why I say that is because you're paying him $230 million guaranteed. So I'm like, you pay all that money and you want him to actually play. So you kind of just all that reason itself, you gotta play on. Like, and not like Brissett's going against like another like journeyman quarterback or something like that, where he was like, okay, Brissett's still high, so you can still play him. But when you paying a guy that much money and you're really trading him for a reason, you never got to play him. But that will be an interesting question though. If that does happen, like it go like 2, like.
Yep.
Do you bring him back? So
yeah.
That's the question.
All right, well, let's move on. The Indianapolis Colts. What is this going to be like a yearly thing where they decide to just take some other veteran quarterback? What's up, Balls?
Are you jumping divisions?
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're in the AFC North, brother.
Yeah. What is the Steelers and the Ravens at?
Oh, they got it all.
Yeah, we need the Steelers and the Ravens.
They got it all mixed up in here though. Look, and I'm just going off of this in order. I told you guys, let me at it. I'm just going across.
Oh, you're right.
They got it all mixed up.
The Cowboys in the AFC South?
Okay, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's next is the Steelers. We won't go off that. We can.
Yeah, I was just going off the grid, but it's fine.
Let's say the Steelers.
So let's go Pitts. So there's some big talk, right? There's already been some news released for Pittsburgh, right? Week 1 quarterback starter is going to be no other than Balls Trubisky. Okay, and Mr. Kenny Pickett, their rookie, who had a hell of a preseason. Again, it's only preseason, right? We always talk about this preseason talk, etc. You can't go off preseason. You can't, it's a gauge to just kind of see where guys are at, whether, especially for rookies, guys that are trying to make teams, etc. Who's going to make the squad, who's not, third, fourth screen, practice squad, etc. But is this a surprise to any of you guys, or did you guys all feel like Trubisky would, regardless of what Pickett did in the preseason, do you feel like Trubisky would ultimately be the starter? And is this something where you really honestly feel like Trubisky can withstand that starting position at QB the whole season? Or is this just hey, we don't want to throw Pickett right out to the wolves and have him be the week 1 starter as a rookie quarterback? We want to kind of transition him slowly into the game. What's your thoughts before we dive any farther with Pittsburgh?
I mean, I think it's probably like the second point. It's kind of like you kind of want to ease Kenny Pickett in because to be honest, like Mitch Trubisky, he looked pretty good in the preseason too. Like, looked confident. He ran the offense pretty well, so he didn't I don't think really made too many really mistakes. So obviously Mitch, veteran, won a bunch of games, been to playoffs a couple times as well. So I can definitely see why he's the week 1 starter. However, I honestly think during the season they might end up going to Kenny Pickett eventually. I probably say it might be like later on in the year, maybe like after like week 10, week 11. I can see them eventually probably going to Pickett. Not because Mitch playing like terrible, but I think a lot of fans and maybe some people within the organization probably want to see Pickett try and get that starting job eventually. So that's all.
Balls.
So Pittsburgh's going to try and do the same exact thing that Chicago did with Mitch. I have no faith in Mitch Trubisky. As somebody that was a big supporter of him early in his career, hoping that he'd be the QB. Nate, he showed out in the preseason every year. He was in Chicago. He was the same QB once the lights came on, man. He's the same QB. I hate to say it, like I want him to do good because he's a good kid. He really he works hard. The talent just it's not there, man. The Pickett got moved up to backup today, so that is they
It
announced
wasn't
it
gonna
today that
stay. Like he did way too well.
I'm on the same train as Nate is, but I think I don't know if Pitt has an early bye, but I would be like week 5. I could see them making that move. I don't see Mitch. I don't see Mitch playing long because the thing is with their run game and their defense, they should be able to stay in some ball games. Yeah. And you're going to need your quarterback to win you a game. And if Mitch can't do that and they're losing games because of Mitch, they've invested in that quarterback. So
right.
I'm not high on Mitch Trubisky, so no.
It's good to finally hear balls be off of the Trubisky thing. All right, so we got another offensive. Well, we got a lot of offensive weapons to talk about still with Pittsburgh, but the next guy would be their run game with Najee Harris, who obviously, for good measure, has in fantasy drafts been drafted pretty high. He's what has he been? A top 5, top 10 running back, I think.
Yeah.
In most from what I've seen.
I think top 5.
I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I mean, they give him the ball, right? I mean, they're a run team, like just feed. So the question would be, and wish we had Brady on here. He'll be joining us soon. But again, what does their offensive line look like this year? Where are they? Do we know? Are they solid?
Nah, I mean, like I know. Last year they had some trouble running the ball a little bit too because not Najee Harris, like he got a lot of carries, but I think he averaged maybe 3 point something like a carry. So
yeah, well, he didn't. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest, right? But he was also a rookie. You know, he's still learning the speed of the NFL, the speed of the game. So
and also Big Ben's arm wasn't that good either. So a lot of teams dissect the box too.
Right.
So
yep.
Let's just put it this way, man. Pittsburgh's finishing 4th in that division. And Mike Tomlin's going to have his first losing season as a coach, unfortunately, thanks to Mitch Trubisky.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that because it's going to be a lot. And it's no, I don't think it's any dive against Prickett, Najee, a lot of those guys, or even Tomlin. But you're going to have there's going to be a lot of growing pains, right? Like when Prickett starts, he's probably not going to do what Big Ben did when Big Ben started in Pittsburgh when he was a rookie and went, 15-0, whatever. He went 15-0. He had one of the best runs ever as a rookie starting quarterback. I don't think you're going to get that from Prickett. I mean, I think he'll be a solid quarterback in the NFL. I think he'll do good. I think he'll do some big things, but it's not going to be his first year. I think he's going to have a lot of struggles. He's going to have a lot of learning curves. There's going to be a lot of processes that he needs to figure out and fix as he continues to grow. Now receiver wise, they lost Juju. Juju went to KC, right? Kind of to help, help settle a little bit of the Tyreek Hill demise. But they have Claypool. Now, Claypool, a lot of people have on a radar as a breakout receiver this year. A lot of people are talking Claypool is going to take a jump and take a leap and kind of be that guy. But again, we got to go back and we got to look at who's throwing the ball to him, who's going to be the quarterback. So you're talking about Trubisky for how long? whether it's 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, the season, we don't know, or Prickett, who's going to be on a learning curve. And besides Claypool, didn't James
Froze.
Oh, he froze. Oh no, he froze.
No. Dang.
Nate, we'll give him a minute and then we'll move on, man.
All right.
We'll see if he comes back.
Yeah.
Because I'm done kind of talking about Pittsburgh. I think they're the worst team in that division, unfortunately, because of their QB play. And I just think it's going to be difficult for them. I think, like we've talked about, the QB position affecting the receivers, the run game. They've got a good defense.
Yeah.
You know, TJ Watt's going to be a stud again, but I mean, they just.
Yeah, but I said like probably similar to like how the Browns are. They go down and rely on their run game and the defense, and then this whole Mitch doesn't make many mistakes. This is to try to be like a game manager and just going from there pretty much. So yeah. I mean, it's definitely gonna be interesting in Pittsburgh, but.
So let's move to the next team then, man. Let's keep it rolling because I know we're taking a lot of time on one little division. We'll keep it moving.
So
what's your thoughts on Baltimore? Obviously, the big question. We kind of stick to a bigger question here. Maybe hint on another one too that I've got. Lamar, man.
Yeah.
Lamar's betting on himself. Are we going to see a man on a mission this year that is trying to, get a fully guaranteed contract, try and break the NFL quarterback mold? That isn't happening now because we saw Russell Wilson sign his deal. Yep. Mind you, a little bit older in his career, different circumstances. But, what's your thoughts on Lamar, man?
Yeah, to be honest, I think Lamar's going to ball out because he look around and he like, hold on, like Russell Wilson just got paid. Deshaun Watson really hasn't played football in like 2 years. He got paid, so and then he's like, hold on, I'm a former NFL MVP. I've been taking this team to the playoffs. I'm doing this, doing that, and I still haven't got my big contract yet. Like, what's going on? So I definitely looked for him to definitely ball out, and then he pretty much got the force to Ravens to pay him, or at least give him a franchise tag or something. So, but yeah, I never think Lamar is due for a big year. But the thing is, only thing that really scares about Baltimore is the receivers. That's the thing that really scares them most because they lost. Well, they traded Hollywood Brown to the Cardinals. So who they had? Like they got I know they got Rashad Bateman who they're high on. They got Devin Duvernay. They got James Prochet, I think, and then maybe like a better receiver. But like they got a bunch of young guys, kind of unproven guys. So that's really be the big question.
They're one of those teams that I keep eyeing that if he comes back at the end of the year, Odell Beckham, I think makes a lot of sense for that team, man. If they're in a good spot, Odell, especially if Bateman's making some good progress, man, I feel like that would be a decent landing spot because he'll come in, he'll start.
Yep.
They can play in the playoffs. He's going to be with Lamar, a really good quarterback. That was my guy though that I was going to highlight was Bateman. I still think though, like they're going to be a really well coached team year in and year out. It really, we know this. It comes down to Lamar and his style of play, and then who are some of their running backs that they got?
I know they got Dobbins. Dobbins missed the whole season last year. So they got him. They got Gus Edwards. I think Tyler Badie, who they drafted this year. I think they got him on there. So like they got a good stable of running backs. So like they'll run the ball. They'll probably be another top 3 rushing team again. They normally are. And then like I know defense, like the defense should be good, like, but because last year they had a bunch of guys hurt last year, like they had tons of guys hurt. So getting those guys back, they should be a pretty good defensive team too. So I guess I can see Baltimore probably finish second in that division. I think.
Yeah.
My deal's okay.
And it's tough because when you look at the AFC West, I know everybody's really high on those teams out there. You've got really 4 competitive teams, honestly, out there in that division. Here you've got 3 teams that I think all are pushing for a playoff spot too. That wild card spot, that last wild card spot in the AFC is going to be really, really interesting. One division that I think that there's only going to be one team that comes out of is the AFC South. I don't think there's really too many teams to be too high on there.
Yeah.
We'll quick touch on them. Let's start in Jacksonville. Big spenders in the offseason. I mean, I wasn't a fan of what they did at wide receiver. I thought, they kind of set the wide receiver market really high, and then you saw some guys fall in place afterwards. But, what do we want to see in year 2 out of, the up and coming star in Travis Etienne? I pulled that on you, Nate. You thought I was going Trevor Lawrence right there.
You know you did.
I'm playing with you. Obviously they got Etienne coming back, signed Christian Kirk. I think they lost DJ Chark. I think he went to Detroit, maybe. Yeah. So, I mean, how do you feel about that team? They spent a lot of money, man, but was it good money? Was it, Doug Peterson coming in as coach? You love the man. Tell it how it is. Let's hear it.
I mean, I don't know. The Jaguars, they're an interesting team. They just it's so many question marks. It's just like how Trevor Lawrence going to be in year 2? Because obviously year 1, rookie year, trying to learn. And obviously he had all that drama with Urban Meyer and all that stuff. So I think having Doug Peterson there is going to be really good for him. Just to have like that, like the nice common presence. Doug Peterson's offensive mind, so he could definitely try to get the best out of Trevor Lawrence. And then, like I said, Travis Etienne coming back, James Robinson. So you got a nice young duo, running back, receiver. They to me they overpaid for Christian Kirk. I definitely do, because we got like 4 years with $72 million.
Yeah, it was a high number like that, but sometimes I think about it like them teams that are, if you're not a good team, you're gonna have to pay. So that's what they fell victim to, I think, too.
Yep. So I know they got him. I think they still got like Chenault. They got still him. I think they picked up Evan Ingram as well at tight end. So offensive wise, I guess it'll be decent. I guess like I said, like it really depends on how Trevor Lawrence progresses from year 1 to year 2, essentially. And then defensive wise, I know they got Josh Allen, the DN. He's really good for him. But outside of him, like who do you really have on defense?
So I don't know if we should stop the stream and keep going. I don't know if we're live on Deafness. Are we?
Yeah, I mean it's.
Is there still a chat going? Can you tell? Because he's texting me, Nate. So he asked what we should do. I don't know. Can you send him the link? Can he join via the link? Can you message him in our like Twitter chat that we got and see if he can jump in on the link? See if he can join it on that. I don't know if you got his phone number. I got it. He's sending me messages, but I use my phone for this. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't have a number, but we are still live though on the channel.
On this page.
Yeah.
So all right, man, I'm gonna keep it rolling.
Yeah, but I guess just keep going.
So where do you see them falling in that division? So we got, Jacksonville. Are they going to be, they've been bottom of the rung. Are they going to be the bottom of the rung? Are they going to be, could they slide in? I think we both maybe have the Colts as the 1, which is, reasonable, probably the best talented team.
Yeah.
Could they slide into that 2 spot? Could they beat out Tennessee?
I don't think so. I think Tennessee is definitely the better team. Like I was like Tennessee better on defense than do with Jacksonville. Jacksonville. I mean, they could probably start to that 3 spot because the Texans. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like I probably see them being like the 3 spot maybe because I never see the Colts as the 1, and then the Titans as the number 2 team in that division. Even with the Titans trading AJ Brown.
So my thoughts kind of, Tennessee's where I'm going to go next. I love Vrabel, the coach. I'm not too big on Tannehill. Do they go to the rookie this year? That's kind of my question. Derrick Henry, if they lose Derrick Henry, there he is. What's up, brother?
Did it keep going or what?
Yeah, me and Nate just kept going, man. Right now we're on the Houston.
It showed we dropped. I thought we lost the whole thing. I thought it because it was connected through mine. I figured like we literally lost all the internet. It just went.
Nate's saying we're still live on your page.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. You can see that on YouTube currently.
Right. Well, hey. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. We're good. Everything is good then.
And if not, Def, me and Nate just got to the Tennessee Titans. We're chugging along, talking to one another.
Let's go.
So the Tennessee Titans, we talked about, the QB. Do you see the rookie, Malik Willis end up playing this year? Tannehill, does he struggle? Derrick Henry, is he going to be able to do what he does every year, man? Like, does the body end up giving out at some point to him? Because that man's taking abuse. He gives it, but you got to take it too in that league.
You know who else Tennessee picked up as a running back is that Michigan boy, Haskins. Haskins is also in Tennessee. The Michigan running back from last year, the Beast.
Brady's
he's also there. So, again, they added more depth. Is Foreman still there, or did Foreman go somewhere else? Did Foreman go to Carolina? Where did Foreman go? Is he still with Tennessee too?
No.
Where the hell did he land? Hey, let me go back to Willis really quick. Let me add a few things, and I think it's important we talk about. You brought up. You think Willis plays this year? I don't know if he plays this year. Do I see him being somebody who could possibly be the quarterback for them in the future? Yes, I think he could possibly be one of the most what's the word I want to use? Like his ability and how well and how much he's already changed his form, his stance, his steps, his everything in the game. The coaches rave about it. Like he is literally improving. He improved every single day in camp. Like they literally showed his footwork against like Tannehill and other guys, like doing the same drills in like day 1 versus like day 10. And it's incredible. It's amazing. And I mean, he's got the strength, he's got the size, he's got the arm. I thought, honestly, personally, in my own opinion, like I felt draft-wise, I was pretty high on him, not seeing him as a day 1 rookie, week 1 starter, maybe not even playing his first rookie season. But I do feel like Willis is somebody that could stand out and could be a starting quarterback in the NFL and could make an impact. We're talking like a Lamar Jackson-esque with more strength-esque. Like, put it this way. Here's how I see a Malik Willis. Take Josh Allen, his size and his strength and his run ability, right, with his power and his arm, and then throw it in with Lamar Jackson and his versatility and his ability to do what he does. That's kind of how I see Willis. That's my opinion. That's how I see it. Some people may disagree with me. Some people may not even see it that way. But that's how I see Mr. Malik Willis. So I don't know if you guys got anything to add on that, but that's kind of where I stand with Mr. Willis.
My thing is I think actually, and Nate, we transitioned from Jacksonville into Tennessee. I think actually Jacksonville's going to finish ahead of them in the division this year.
Really?
I think it's going to go Indy. I think it's going to go Indy, Jacksonville. I think we're going to see a good step from Trevor Lawrence. I think Tennessee.
You got Mr. Travis E too. Everybody's pretty high on him this preseason, off season.
So I'm not as high on Tennessee. I think they finished 3rd in that division. I think the 4th seed, honestly, out of that division, like if we're ranking that division internally, it's got to be Houston. I mean, Dougie Davis Mills, man, we don't know. I call him Dougie because of the Pat McAfee show.
Long neck Mills.
Yeah, like Mike Glennon out there, man.
He's the old Glennon. They're gonna have a Carter thing like the Jay Cutler smoke.
I mean, Houston's a lot of unknown right now. They're in a big transition stage. I mean, Lovie Smith's their coach. I love Lovie Smith. Probably one of the best. He's a better coach than Mike Ditka was in Bears history. I know Mike Ditka won a Super Bowl, but Lovie Smith could have won probably 5 Super Bowls with that defense, man.
Right.
You know, it's Buddy Ryan who won the Super Bowl, not Mike Ditka. So let's get that right. But I mean, I don't even know where I was going with that. Lovey, talking about Houston. All right, so Houston. The Houston Texans, man, I hope they do really well, but like name 5 players on that team.
Davis Mills, JJ Watt, Nico Collins, or JJ Watt's on Arizona. Scratch that.
Bring it out.
They don't even have Ross Blackburn or whatever anymore. He's with the Vikes. We got him.
They got Brandon Cooks on there.
Okay, 2. We've got 2 collectively as 3 men.
Who is their running backs anymore? Anyway, Houston.
Demar. I drafted this guy in fantasy football. Damian Pierce, Damane Pierce. I don't know.
Oh, rookie.
Yeah, he's rookie.
Rex Burkhead. Ha! I got one.
Jeez.
There you go. We got like.
So let's
3
be
or
honest,
4.
dude. We got like 4 players on their team.
Yeah.
Like, not much to say about the Houston Texans. No. I think let's move to the team that's going to win the division. The Indianapolis Colts, man. They keep playing QB carousel.
Yeah.
They keep replacing the quarterback. Did they finally get the one with Matt Ryan? Is Matt Ryan? I think we're all here on the same page that they're going to win that division. They're the most talented team. They've got the best running back, possibly one of the best defensive players, and Darius Leonard on that team. That defense is really good. What
is Jonathan Taylor really going to repeat and do what he did last year? I mean, I know his talent's through the roof, and I know they got him at the offensive line, but is he really going to do it? I mean, is he really going to be that? Is he going to end at the number 1? I mean, this is what the people want to hear too, like on our opinions. Is he really going to finish as that RB1, like when the season's up, regular season?
I think so. Because if Matt Ryan does the same thing he did in Atlanta, then that means Jonathan Taylor going to catch a bunch of passes in offense.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there really isn't a lot of teams out there these days that, you know, we talked about it already with some of the other teams, like running back by committees or 1-2 punches or 1-2-3 punches. Like, yeah, they have Hines and some of those other guys that come in and fill in for him when he needs a breather. But he's one of those backs in an offense that he plays that 3-down, 4-down roll back. Like, and he's very, you know, in tuned in getting the ball and getting the touches and seeing the touches. So, I mean, I think I would agree. You know, this is something interesting, and we'll eventually get to the Panthers. But my son really thinks that CMC is going to be a better, if he stays healthy, is going to be a better fantasy producer than Jonathan Taylor will be by season end. He feels like he's healthier. He feels like he's gotten into a different style of shape. I don't personally see it, but I'm bringing this up because it's, you know, my son always throws in his little cues, whatever. Like he told me in one of the drafts when they do the random whatever, and I ended up getting first pick, he literally texted me, and he didn't have pick number 2. He had like pick 7, but he said, Dad, you better take CMC over JT. And I said, hell no. I said, I'm taking Jonathan Taylor. I said, why? And he said, you know, CMC is going to outproduce Taylor this year. I'm like, no. He goes, do you realize that he averaged like 26, 27 fantasy points a week, almost every week that he's been healthy? but he gets hurt so often. He gets hurt. That's the problem. They overutilize him. That's why he scores so many fantasy points, because they overutilize him. They have him too in tune, too just full on all of the offense, and he gets overworked, and that's where I think we see him causing injuries and having these injuries. So
and I think that's where Jonathan Taylor, like Matt Ryan, is. Let's be honest, like he's an upgrade from Carson Wentz. He's probably the best QB. Phillip Rivers wasn't Phillip Rivers of old. He's the best QB they've had in a while. Like Matt Ryan's not the best, but he's also not going to lose you games here. He's going to be a consistent QB that's going to put respect on that team. I think they're still going to run JT a lot. I think they know that. They're just going to run the bricks off him during this contract, and it plays into their team really well. I just think that, you look at that team, they've got to stay healthy because they've had a ton of injuries. But then, from there, man, Matt Ryan be that quarterback. If you had to toss up, you throw a team at him. Say it's a close game versus Seattle.
mm-hmm.
What QB are you taking? Matt Ryan or Geno Smith or Drew Lock?
Well,
I mean,
but the three of them,
you can do that. Okay, it's a close game between the Bears and them. Who are you taking? That's a tough call. You know what I mean? We know more about Matt Ryan. It's a tough call. Right. So I think Matt Ryan puts a legitimacy on that team that they'll make the playoffs. Can they win it all?
If they don't make the playoffs, right? If they don't make the playoffs, I mean, there's something. The coaches need to be probably canned, and the game plan going into it wasn't correct. The players weren't prepared.
Or Trevor Lawrence took a huge jump that nobody sees coming, and he's the best quarterback in the league.
Which is possible because, again, there's a lot of things that are added things that are coming in here that, they were without last year that they already had, but they didn't have because they weren't playing. I think one thing, the Bobbles and Ball Cards, appreciate you joining. He said the greatest ability is availability. And that's a true statement, right? Yeah. Like, how often do we see players in this league come in and their ability to play make, their ability to just change a game in an instant, their ability to find a way to get open or break a big one or whatever it may be. Take, for an example, Antonio Brown, right? We can go back and talk about it. You want to call him a clown, you want to call him whatever he may be. But dude was flat out, came back in the league and was flat out back at his whatever, forget what year it was that he dominated the NFL in Pittsburgh when he was, with Tampa, and nobody could stop him. Like, he was unstoppable, but not available because he has issues with the coaching staff. He's got something else going on up in his head that's pulling him away from the game. That's not keeping him locked in and zoned in. I mean, what could have been? Like, I honestly feel like, I'm just going to throw this out here. I honestly feel like if Tampa Bay has Antonio Brown and all that stuff doesn't happen and against the Jets and he stays straight and stays in his game, in his mindset, I honestly feel like Tampa's probably winning that Super Bowl again. I'm going to say it and I'm going to state it because that was Tom Brady's favorite target that last year. And the numbers he was putting up, like I said, were like when he was back in Pittsburgh at the top of his game. Nobody could touch him. And he had Mike Evans to help his ability to get open. I mean, all the other Gronk there, et cetera. Fournette with their run game. We're talking about Tampa, and we're not there yet. But I'm just trying to throw it in the mix of the statement of, the greatest ability is availability. Right. So just kind of throwing a piece out there of somebody, not trying to sidetrack you. But we're
bringing
talking
it
football, so it don't matter.
even bringing it back to the Colts, though, they had a ton of injuries last year. They have to stay healthy to win this division.
Right.
So,
Right. Yep.
Anybody else have thoughts on the Colts?
I think you're right. Like on the JT thing, I think they maybe some would say maybe they overutilize him. But what else do you do with the best player in the NFL or the best running back in the game? And he hasn't shown signs where he's injury prone. He stays healthy. I think part of that too is we'd have to look at his contact numbers, right? How often he's hitting contact, how often he's avoiding contact. That stuff we can dive into looking at running backs as well as any other player. And I think you probably see a big difference between, even though CMC has got that agility, ability, that speed, I still think that you're going to see JT just at a different pace, at a different number. And that's probably partially what's helping him stay healthy, even though he's being utilized in the offense as much as he is. So, I think we're good. I think we can move on.
So let's go to the AFC East then.
Who do you want to start with?
Let's start down in Miami.
Balls, you be the leader this time. I kind of like this.
I'm going to. Let's start
like
down
this.
in Miami.
I like to be in a different seat for once. In fact, let me do this.
So let's start in Miami. I've always said this. That just threw me off, man. I've always said this. That if Tua doesn't pan out and Lamar somehow becomes a free agent, that's my landing spot for Lamar Jackson, is down in Miami with that team. I'm putting that's like my bold prediction if he gets away somehow.
I like that.
But what are your guys' thoughts on Tua? Does he do it this year? They've given him the weapons. He's got now an offensive 100%. Mind and Mike McDaniel. I think that's his name, right? Mike McDaniel or Mike McDaniels from the Niners previously. Yeah. He's like me. He likes to partake. But you can just tell, man. Look at the guy. He likes to partake. So does Tua do it this year? Does he jump forward? Nate, you gave me eyes that say no. You're saying no. Is the practice footage scaring you that much when he goes to throw it to Tyreek and it's like 10 yards short? What's up? Speak to me.
Or Tyreek has to run back to the ball 10 yards.
Man, like I really want Tua to have a big year, but I really just don't see it. Obviously he has Jenna Wilder, he got Tyreek Hill, he got Mike Gesicki, so he has weapons, but I don't know. It is that feeling that he probably not gonna do it this year. They're probably gonna move on from him, and then, like I said, if Lamar Jackson is available, the Dolphins gonna try to throw how many dollars they got at him. So, but I think Tua's gonna have a solid year, but I only gonna have a year that people think like he should stay the starter there in Miami. So that's probably like my prediction. I think he's gonna have a solid year, but not a great year.
I think I'm kind of in the same boat as Nate. I think that there's a little too much overhype going on the Tua train, and I get why. I see why.
Yeah.
I see like a lot of people that like want to see Miami be a winning team, want to see them be contenders. They want to be bought into the whole Tua hype, Tua train. And yet I feel like he's got the ability, and I feel like he's got talent. But at the same time, I feel like even with all the talent that they put in front of him, he's going to still struggle. He's going to make those mistakes. He's going to throw those interceptions, like those god-awful passes that are going to just turn the ball over when it's at a point in the game where they need to control the clock, or they need to get that. They need to get those first downs, and it's just silly mistakes that cause them, that he's a big part of, that causes that team to do it. Now, does he go out and prove me wrong, prove Nate wrong? Could he do it? Absolutely. Anything's possible, guys. We talk about this, and that's what's fun about this, is we can do these, and then we can look back and say, we can laugh at how off we were, how on we were on certain things, and just run with it, But I see him still struggling. I'm not bought in. I'm not bought into the Tua hype yet. Maybe he needs another year or two of just kind of working through that, some of the struggles, getting the kinks. Hopefully, he can bypass that. I don't know that there's regression. I think there's a little progression, but I don't think the progression's at the point where we feel like, wow, holy crap, Tua's just arisen. Like, here he is, man. He's making it happen. Like, even with Hill in the mix, even with all these other weapons in the mix. They got Chase Edmonds, they got another running back too. Who else did they get? They got Edmonds and another back.
Raheem Mostert.
Who?
Mostert.
Mostert from the Niners.
Oh, Mostert. Yeah, they got Mostert.
Yep.
So, I mean, they really gained a lot of depth in the running back field, and they got Hill, But again, let's go back to it. What does their offensive line look like right now? Like, are there holes? Is the protection there for him? Still a young quarterback that's going to need time, or going to need to allude to find time to throw it deep to someone like a Tyreek Hill, who is going to be his main guy?
So I think if we look, though, let's model the two offenses. The head coach came from San Francisco. Yeah. San Francisco is about to run the same exact model almost, because we've got to figure, right? We got to figure Mike McDaniel's system comes from that Shanahan tree.
Yep.
So the Niners are banking on a young QB to take a step in that offense. Same exact spot. It's going to be interesting to see, is this offense set up for young QBs to be successful? And if not, why not? How did they fail? Which one is more valuable in this instance? Is a Trey Lance going to be more valuable because of his explosiveness? So that's kind of going to be an interesting comparison between the two teams. Now, the Niners, I mean, you could argue the Niners aren't a better team than them, though, than Miami. Miami's got a really good offense that we're saying. I'm not really hinting too much on defense. I don't know if you guys want to talk, interject on defense, but if we're gonna stay on that, let's stick to another young quarterback in that division, Zach Wilson. Right now,
the MILF Hunter.
Yeah.
Watch your moms. Keep them inside and lock your doors. Zach Wilson's coming to play.
He's out there, being Stifler's mom's best friend. Finch from American Pie. But word out of the Jets is like it was a competition with Joe Flacco for a while, that Joe Flacco's looked better on quite a few days. Do we see Zach Wilson take a step? And offensively, they've got names. Brees, they've got Michael Carter.
Brees is a guy I want to talk about a little bit too. Like,
they've got two names. They've got running backs. They've got, is Elijah Moore there as wide receiver?
They got Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson. I mean, they've got a lot of young names. They're banking on a lot of young names. Are we going to see? I mean, if we're talking hit rate on young guys too, it's not that much. Are we going to see them be successful? Where do they go? They need Zach Wilson to be successful. Who's going to be the next guy, though?
Here's going to be my thing in question again, though, and this is my hole, or what I see in somebody like a Breece Hall. Again, we go back to this, but I think this is one of the most important things that most of us know, but I don't think we focus enough on, is where is their offensive line? Like, who is their offensive line? How well, again, it all goes back to protections. It all goes back to, can they actually develop a run game? Like, a Breece Hall can be an absolute monster in the NFL. I know he can. A lot of people know that. But he can't become a monster if he has absolutely nowhere to run. Like, if he's just hitting a wall every single time, and he's got to fend for himself, and he's got to be off contact every single run, and try to get something forward, whether it's a yard 10, break one, plow over somebody, luckily, or just oversize them. Same thing going back with the MILF hunter, Zach Wilson. Like, can he really find the time or have the time, still being a young quarterback, or utilize a way to escape and set and be able to throw the ball properly to one of these young receivers or one of these guys down the field? That's what's going to be in question, and that's, I think, going to be a big deal with a lot of these teams going forward, honestly, like it always is, right? I mean, did they draft any? I mean, I didn't look at their offensive line drafts. Did they draft any offensive linemen this year? Did they go out and grab anybody for the offensive line?
I will say this: they were very high on Mekhi Becton coming in, and
but he got
they
hurt.
lost him like the very first day of preseason camp. So
that's not good.
Yeah, their offensive line is not in good shape. No, they're honestly a lower quarter team. In the whole NFL, they're bottom 8.
Yep.
I would say probably bottom 6.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not.
What was that?
They're not. They're not a good team, man. They're just not.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I just don't really trust Zach Wilson right now. Just it is that one he obviously he had a bunch of games where he threw multiple interceptions, just not look well. Obviously there's some throws he made. He's oh, okay, he's talented, but it's he makes some throws who are you looking at? Why he made that throw? And then another thing is that he's been injured a lot, definitely early on in his career too, because he's got injured in preseason game against the Eagles. He ran, and then I think he tried to dive forward, and he had a knee injury or an ankle injury.
Well,
so
yeah, he got hurt on that play.
And what I don't understand too, though, with some of these teams, like when we ask this simple question about the offensive line, and we look at the offensive line, why are these teams? Why are they not trying to build these line? Why are they not being aggressive in that area? Or why are they not trying to fill these holes?
So earlier in the NFL runs in cycles. This is a long answer to this, but because the college game is so spread out, your linemen don't have to be good. They have to hold on for a second. And in the NFL, it's different. We don't have that spread. We still have spread concepts, but you're playing the best of those college guys that can get to the quarterback quick enough. So really, in the last, I would say, 15 to 20 years, offensive line play has really gone down as college players aren't being developed like they used to be. If you look at teams that put out like Iowa, Wisconsin, your Big Ten teams, Minnesota, they put out NFL linemen all the time because they're them type of teams. They're not spread. They're not that run and gun type of offense. So it's very hard to draft those type of players. And then if you can, keep them healthy and on your team. Let's move to the next team then. Another quarterback, young quarterback that last year had a lot of success. This preseason has struggled some with Mac Wilson.
You mean Mac Jones?
Mac Wilson, Mac Jones.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, I got a little together. You should have hit me with the who, and I could have went Mac Jones.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mac Jones totally messed that up.
Who?
Yeah, Mac Jones. So, Josh McDaniels left. So he loses his offensive coordinator. And then last we hear, I think it's Matt Patricia calling plays.
Yep.
Who got laughed out of being a head coach for the Detroit Lions. He's a really great defensive coordinator. Has won Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator. And now is coaching offense. It seems like there's a lot of trust just in Bill Belichick will figure it out. He'll figure it out. He's Bill Belichick. He's the greatest coach of all time. Are we going to see regression with Mac Jones and that Patriots offense? And do we start to hear questions of Tom Brady made the right move away from Bill Belichick when it comes to that? So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on those things.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I never do see them probably having to step back this year because I'm pretty sure the offense they run now is more like I think like a zone read or like a zone run like scheme, and like the offense hasn't looked that good in the preseason. Like Matt Jones seems like he's thinking a little too much. He's making mistakes that he wasn't making his rookie season. They really don't have too many good receivers. I know they got like Aguilar. I know they got Devontae Parker, but he's kind of up and down. He's not really that consistent. So, but yeah, with that, and then also with Bill Belichick, like it's been talking like a lot of this all season is kind of like was he successful because of Tom Brady, or Bill Belichick actually a really great coach? So it's already been talked about that already. So if the Patriots have like another if Patriots have like a bad season, then it's gonna be like, did Tom Brady make Bill Belichick? So yeah, as crazy as it sounds, if the Patriots do have a bad season, that Jones struggles a little bit, we talk to him like.
I think you guys are bringing up a great point, and honestly, I think Balls maybe hits us on the head. I guess the biggest thing I could say right now is we'll find out, right? Like as season goes, season end, or does Bill Belichick just find a way to continue to win, like right to have a winning season, or turn things around, and us look at everything right now and go, it looks like he doesn't have a very good team. They struggle in the preseason. Looks like this, and then come out and have a winning season and be Bill Belichick again. Or is it true that Mac Jones just isn't there like people thought he was going to be, like he was last year, and with, like you said, McDaniel's gone and new offensive coordinator, a lot of changes in New England. I don't see them being a great team this year, but again, nothing's ever going to surprise me until I see differently from Mr. Belichick. You know what I mean? Like, because he just finds ways to get things done, and he's done it before when it's been like there's really, from what we knew, nothing there, right? But yet he had the greatest quarterback of all time standing there on the sidelines with him, Jimmy G, around the same time. So,
I mean, with there being 7 playoff teams, there is always that possibility that they'd make it. Right. That Miami struggles because of Tua, that that they somehow make the wild card.
Right.
So that would be mine. I'm blanking.
That'd be the extent. Like what you're saying would be probably that would be the extent of me seeing with New England is like a wild card team. Yeah. Like max. Like I don't see it. Sorry, Boston fans. Sorry, Patriots fans. Like you guys have had some domination for a long time, but I just don't see it there anymore. Like at least for now. So prove me wrong. Right?
I'm blanking on the 4th team in that division, so they must be irrelevant.
What do we got? Who did we went through?
Buffalo Bills, man. Super Bowl probably favorites in a lot of people's minds. The Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're very high on Josh Allen. You've got, Stephon Diggs. They've added a few pieces. Bring back
Gabriel Davis, who had a coming out party in the playoffs.
Yep.
Bring back most of that defense. That defense last year is very underrated.
Now,
probably didn't get the credit.
They did lose, Von Miller, but they did lose Cole Beasley to Philadelphia, who there's been talks. Beasley went to Philadelphia, right, Nate? Cole Beasley?
Let's put it this way. I'm pretty
sure he did when Rieger got traded to us. I'm pretty sure Beasley went there, and there's been talks from some of the greats like fantasy guys like Adam Levine or Levitine or whatever, that he sees him as being like a top 15 receiver in the league in Philly. He went to Philly,
Cole
right?
Beasley?
No,
He's not in Buffalo anymore.
no. They don't list as a free agent actually.
I thought Philly picked him up.
No, no, they got.
I thought they picked him up when Rieger got traded to the maybe not. Maybe it was talks and it never happened, which is crazy because
Yeah,
somebody's going to pick him up. I mean, obviously that dude's talent's through the roof. He just finds ways to get open. Like he just
So
gets in the end zone.
my question is, outside of a coin flip and Josh Allen going down, how do the Buffalo Bills? How do you beat the Buffalo Bills?
you gotta somehow contain Josh Allen. You just gotta just make sure he can't really like scramble too much or
You have to shut down his pass abilities, pass game. Like and then just control him, contain him on the run side. There's no other way you can do it because we might find out something different this year with besides Josh Allen's run ability because they've never really had a running back, right? Like through these years, they've never really had that guy. They've had Devin Singletary, they've had
Zach Moss.
Who?
What's called Zach Moss.
Yeah, Zach Moss. They're like a three back committee is what they've always ran by. Now they got James Cook, who is Dalvin Cook's cousin or whatever, who there's a lot of rave of. But again, are they really going to be that? Are they really going to go to like a run style offense? I don't see it. I continue to see them being a pass offense and using Allen's ability to get away, scramble, run, get the rushing touchdown upside, etc. But I think at the end, the only way you do it is here's how I feel you beat Buffalo. You have to be able to contain them on the pass, and then basically once you can shut that down, you can work on containing Allen as himself just with his ability to run. And then on the other end of it, you need to put points on the board because they're going to score. Like they are going to score. Even if you contain them, they are going to score points.
Yep.
There might be a week or two where they score less than 14 points. It might be a low scoring game. It's probably going to be a divisional game like against the Jets, or to be something like against the Jets or something. You know how those games always go where it's not even the greatest team, but like that team shows up to play their division rival or a division team, and it's just a 7-7 or a 3-7 game or something. But I think besides that, I think you're going to see Buffalo be a team that, in my opinion, probably averages 21, 24 points a week at least. I don't see any less. So you're going to have to put up points besides contain the pass, in my opinion, to shut down Allen.
Yeah, it sounds super simple, but I think, obviously without barring injury and stuff like that, and it's easy to say that they are the probably one of the most complete teams. So let's see. It'll be interesting to see, Dawson Knox again. Does he produce like he did? He had a pretty good year last year.
I mean, when I'm in any league I get Allen, I'm trying to get Knox. Honestly, I don't even care about stacking Diggs because usually in most fantasy drafts, it's very hard to get like a Stephon Diggs and a Josh Allen to like do a stack with. But I've always tried to reach when I can get Allen, I try to go to Knox. And if not, then I'm going Allen and Gabriel Davis. And I might take Davis a little early just to put him in that stack with an Allen. But the other thing is Allen's got a lot of pressure on him this year. The Bills got a lot of pressure on themselves. So can they continue to be a contending team with that amount of pressure? The chance of Josh Allen being MVP, like how many people are talking about him being the QB1 end of season? That's gonna play some toll. I don't care how Joe Cool you are, how smooth you are. It doesn't matter. When you're going in and week out, it's already tough enough to win in the NFL. Players talk about it all the time. Now he's got that pressure on him as well, and the pressure to win, the pressure to get things done. The pressure is like now for us to get to the Super Bowl. Can he do it? We'll see. We'll see if he can, and if he does, it's going to be one hell of a season, one hell of a run. I mean,
and
shifting
now to a team, and Terry Paul's got it up on the screen. Shifting to a team that's competed year in, year out now, the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC West. A lot of people are really down on Andy Reid's Chiefs team, man. Losing Tyreek Hill, they are not giving them a chance out in that AFC West. We've seen teams like the Chargers that make additions. We've seen what the Raiders have done addition-wise as well. And then, obviously, Denver making the biggest splash, in my opinion, going out and getting the quarterback. Mm-hmm. So, let's see. And Terry Paul, I'm going to answer that question. They would be neither of those because there's 17 games in the season. So I just got to be that guy, brother. It's easy to forget about. They would be a 5-12 team though, instead of 14-3. Yes, if they lost Josh Allen. But so we're moving on to Kansas City.
Yep.
Is the loss of Tyreek Hill going to be that big, and why?
So I think there's going to be a player and there's going to be a rookie. And we wanted to touch on some guys we think are going to stick out or play a role or play a part in the NFL this year. And the Chiefs would be one team that kind of sticks out to me, and a player by the name of Sky Moore. This guy has had a huge preseason. This guy is lining up in the backfield. This guy is being utilized like a Tyreek Hill was. I'm not saying he's Tyreek Hill. I brought this up, I think, in previous podcasts, like once we heard the news of Tyreek leaving, before when we were doing them, or just on streams in general. I've told you guys, I've said this a couple times, there won't be an actual Tyreek Hill. Like, his abilities, size, speed, everything he brings to the table, we probably won't see another one like him in another 10 years. Hard to say. Maybe sooner. But if we were to try to find somebody that can try to fill in that role, that's not quite him, but can maybe be close, that can be utilized in the same ways, that has that speed, maybe not quite the power yet because he's still a little bit younger, that would be Sky Moore. And if you guys haven't watched any highlights on him, if you haven't seen much of him, you guys need to look into him. I mean, he has been a guy that I've been trying to pick up in drafts late if he's there. A lot of people are picking at him. Some people are drafting him earlier than I would assume he'd be drafted. But again, that could be a proving me wrong type thing, like where people are really seeing things, and he's somebody he's gonna get touches. He's gonna be a part of a game plan. He's gonna get in there. Now, is he gonna be an every down player? Probably not. Probably not start the season. Can he roll into something like that? Probably. And that's gonna help Mahomes, and that's going to help utilize everything Mahomes likes to do and what Mahomes is about. So Kelsey's still there, right? You got Juju Smith-Schuster coming in the realm. You got Hardman, right, who's trying to take a step up. Nicole Hardman.
Yep.
Pringle is still there, right? Or did he go to a different team now? Where did he go? Byron Pringle? I went to Chicago. You got a little Pringle in your Chicago step over there, little buddy.
Once you pop, you can't stop, baby.
You got a little Pringle.
Once you pop, you can't stop, baby.
What's that?
Said once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah.
So we went over it. We think Sky Moore. I like that deafness. Nate, I'm going to ask you.
Yep.
And we hit on it. Travis Kelce. How's he? What are your thoughts? How's he produced this year? He's going to see more double teams now because of Tyreek Hill and that safety over the top being gone now.
Yeah.
What do you see? Do we see a dip not only in fantasy production, but maybe do we see a dip in actual production as far as touchdowns or catches on the field?
Yeah. I'm probably gonna see a dip in both because, like I said, like teams are gonna force Mahomes to throw to the other receivers. They're gonna force having a Miko Hardman try to beat him, have a Juju beat him, have a Sky Moore try to beat him, try to have a Marquez Valdez-Scantling beat him, because like they already know Mahomes and Travis Kelce got a great connection already. They already know how good he is. So it wouldn't be surprised if he's double or even sometimes it might be triple teamed because they know how good he is, and they're gonna force, like I said, they're gonna force one of those receivers to be the number one receiver. So I can never see his production going down. I mean, like he obviously still gonna get his good amount of catches, he's gonna get his yards, gonna get his touchdowns, but I don't think it's be as much as previous years because of the loss of Tyreek Hill. So that's how I see it.
So Tyreek Hill was obviously a huge loss in the division. And I said it earlier as I was previewing him. The biggest addition in the entire division is Russell Wilson at the quarterback team for a pretty solid Denver Broncos team. You know, they did lose Noah Fant. I'm not familiar with their other tight end, if you guys are, but they seem to have some decent young receivers in place. They've got Javonte Williams at running back, a pretty good defense last year, a new offensive coach, and I think it's Nathaniel Hackett, if I'm correct.
Yeah, from Green Bay.
From Green Bay, which Green Bay runs kind of that Shanahan system, if you guys are kind of familiar with that. But you'll see it'll be interesting to see. Once again, you've got Russell. Can we compare his season kind of against Aaron Rodgers? Similar systems. So what are your guys' thoughts on Denver?
This is a team that I love this year. I'm just going to come out here and I'm going to say it. And I've been talking a lot.
Preach, brother. Give me a sec.
Talking a lot about Javonte Williams. I've been talking a lot about how I feel this kid can be a top 10 running back in the league. I'm going to say it now. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. They've built this team. They've went out and got a quarterback that's a contending quarterback, that's a proven quarterback.
Yep.
They have talent around him. You want to talk about a guy who's probably going to take that next step or that next level in receiver? Let's start talking about someone in the likes of Tim Patrick, right?
Ooh, yep.
They got Judy, right? Who's probably going to take another step up, especially with like the likes of a Russell Wilson. But Javonte Williams, I mean, Melvin Gordon, like he's even raving about him. Like he says, you know, I'm doing everything I can to still get my time and get my touches.
Yeah.
But I know that this team I know Javonte Williams is the Broncos going forward. I know that's who they want. I'm still trying to get my touches, but I know that's definitely what this organization needs, and that's what they want. But now you're going to have, like I said, Balls, I brought up the likes of players that are going to take a jump, like Tim Patrick, right? Tim Patrick, receiver. You got the likes of Judy. Who did they got that Albert Okwuegbunam, whatever, that tight end that kind of made a splash last year with not even having the greatest of quarterbacks throwing to him. Who else did they also pick up at tight end? I think they grabbed someone else too. I'm almost positive. Noah Fant went to Seattle.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
The Seahawks. But did they not get another tight end? Like that was a decent name. I thought maybe not. I could be wrong. And then look at their defense, right? I mean, this team, there's reasons why Russell Wilson, not just because of getting paid or getting money. There's reasons why he went to Denver. He sees the potential in the team. And when you talk about like a team that can be a contending team that can play, has somewhat of a pretty solid defense behind them, has a quarterback, has the weapons around him, also has the ability to have a solid run game with somebody like a Javonte Williams, who is going to be an absolute monster, in my opinion. Man, I mean, there's a lot to be happy about there. There's a lot to like there. So, Nate, talk to me. What do you think?
Yeah, like Denver's gonna be. I think gonna be one of those like good, like surprising teams that come out nowhere, because like you look at last year, like they actually wasn't a good amount of games. They had that good quarterback play. So now we got Russell Wilson, you got everybody back healthy, Judy, Cortland Sutton, Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon. So weapons offense is great, and then on defense, I know they still got Bradley Chubb. They got Patrick Surtain, who balled out as a rookie. They got Justin Simmons, one of the best safeties out there. They have a pretty solid linebacker core, so they could definitely surprise a lot of people. I'm not sure how many people like have them maybe like winning the division, but they could definitely probably get like a playoff spot. I think just off having Russell Wilson alone.
It wouldn't shock you though if they won the division either, though. With
Yeah,
how
no.
good that team is, like that's the thing about this division right now. I don't think there's a single team in this division that if they won the division, it would shock you, honestly.
No, yeah.
I really don't think that. So I think we've hit Denver pretty well. Let's move to the next team. And Deafness, I know you're going to preach about your boy Justin Herbert. We kind of hit on it earlier. Here's your chance to defend him.
Okay.
But my question is going to kind of be, do we see the same production out of Mike Williams again? Is Mike Williams going to have that same production? Because last year he had a really good time, but you're saying more. You're saying more production.
Jumping. If you guys have seen my fantasy drafts where I'm taking Justin Herbert, I'm taking Mike Williams early.
So you're taking Mike Williams really early because Keenan Allen's been doing it a long time.
Herbert, or if he's in the right spot, yes. So here's the thing. Mike Williams, let's look at his size. Let's look at his ability, right? How many corners in the NFL can match up to his height and his size, his vertical, his jump ability, just right there alone, right? Could his route running, could some of that stuff improve or be better? Absolutely. Is that things that I feel like he's probably been worked on or his coaching, his receivers have worked on? Absolutely. Welcome, Brady. Great time for you to join. Perfect timing because we haven't started the NFC yet. Could this be? I'm just telling you guys, I am all bought in this year with Mike Williams, Justin Herbert, Eckler continuing to produce. Who do they got? Who's their tight end now over in L.A.?
Gosh, it can't be Hunter Henry, is it?
No. He's in New England. Brady, who's the tight end?
Give him a minute, man. He hasn't got the computer up
yet.
Get that
computer fired up. We need our back end boy.
It's a Joe Everett and a Donald Parham.
Who?
I was saying, I thought it was Parham.
Exactly. Who?
Parham?
Yeah, Donald Parham Jr. He's young, and then they have Gerald Everett.
Oh, yeah, no. He is actually a beast.
Yeah.
He is a beast. He is a stud. So, defensively, right?
They added Matt. They added Justin Jackson too, right? Is that
J.C. Jackson.
J.C. Jackson
from New England, and they also added Khalil Mack too. So,
in my opinion, I can see Herbert battling Josh Allen for MVP of the league and top QB1 of the season. I'm going to say it now. This is a deafness bold prediction pre-season. Count it. Write it down. Put it somewhere. Tattooed on your forehead. I don't care, baby. I'm going all in. And listen. If you guys don't recall, we were talking about last year, beginning of the season. It was Bill. Well, most of us were on Bills. I think some of us were on Rams to begin, but I don't think all of us were bought into the Rams yet. I think some of us still had that soft spot with the Stafford can't really fully do it. And then wherever our boy Tom T is, bless his little heart, because I know he was getting at us about the Stafford stuff. But I get those feels, man. I get those vibes, and I don't know. I might even put some money on Herbert MVP and see what the numbers are at. Hey, money man Nate, pull up what the season MVP numbers are right now for Justin Herbert. Let's just let the people know where it stands right now. What does Vegas say?
And while you guys are looking that up, Brady, where do you have them finishing in this division?
That's one of those things where we constantly – I think we had a kind of end-of-the-year discussion last year, and, I mean, that's probably the most competitive division in the AFC.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, like, here's the thing. I think that the additions they made on defense make it so that Justin Herbert doesn't have to shoulder the entire next step that team needs to take, right? Because we look at Josh Allen, right? He took that next step. He put the Bills in that, they had a good defense to go with it, but he actually took the next step. Herbert's been playing amazing. There's a lot of expectations this year, and I think part of the reason they went and got J.C. Jackson and Khalil Mack was to say, all right, Justin, you're going to take the next step. We believe in you, but for those games that you don't have to, do it all by yourself. He's got some leeway that the defense is going to show up. There's going to be some games where he's going to struggle. All young quarterbacks do. Mahomes does. Mahomes has. Josh Allen has. We see it. So I would not be surprised if they win 12 games. To be honest, I would not be surprised.
Nate,
go.
do you got the line?
Nate.
Yeah. I'm trying to go now. I think it was plus 1,000. I think for Herbert. Yeah, plus 1,000.
Yep. I got plus 900 on a different site. So it goes Allen plus 600, Mahomes plus 750, Tom Brady plus 800, and then Rodgers and Herbert at plus 900.
What's Mahomes? Or what's Allen? Excuse me. What's Allen?
Plus 600. So.
Yeah, I was trying to go FanDuel, but FanDuel had most passing yards, passing touchdowns.
Fire up Herbert, baby. Let's ride.
And finally, the worst for last, the Vegas Raiders. The big addition of Davante Adams, the new head coach, and Josh McDaniels. What are your guys' thoughts? Derek Carr seems to be the guy there.
I would say that there's so addition by subtraction, taking away just the Gruden thing. Like, they did not draft well. Like, we know, I don't know if anybody's been following, they have like 5 of their last 6 first rounders are already gone.
Yeah.
Devontae is a big addition. I don't like Josh McDaniels for whatever reason. He's been given multiple chances in multiple different places and never really done anything. But I kind of heard Raiders fans multiple times clamor for Derek Carr, right? And he never was really given a ton of weapons, but now he's got the probably number one, if arguably the number one wide receiver in all of football. And you want to talk Jefferson or Tyreek or whoever, what you prefer. But I mean, a lot of people take Davante Adams, and so there's no excuses. You got to go do your thing now. We'll see how good of a quarterback Derek Carr really is, because there's a lot of Herbert's not going to take it easy. Mahomes ain't going to take it easy. So that's a big quarterback matchups, a lot of games this year. I mean, Russell Wilson coming in the division, that's 6 matchups during the season of quarterbacks on your level or better than you. Can you rise to the occasion? And again, let's go back to the same question that we've been asking all night with a lot of these quarterbacks and how they're going to do and how they're going to perform and what kind of season they're going to have. What does the Raiders' offensive line look like, right? Is Carr going to have that time that he needs? Is he going to be able to elude, set, and hit the right target? Is he going to check down properly when he has all these different weapons? Is he going to make mistakes? I mean, like any quarterback, I mean, they're going to do it. There's going to be mistakes, but how often, how many, and what's that going to do? How is that going to play out in season end, at the end of the season, their record? So, obviously, yeah, Adams, I mean, here's if I'm looking at this team as a standout receiver, if I'm looking at a fantasy side, if I'm looking at DFS side week in and week out, and I'm looking at matchups, when I'm seeing like strong matchups, I'm probably looking to somebody like a Hunter Renfrow over somebody like a Davante Adams more weeks than not, for multiple reasons. Because one, Adams is going to get the toughest matchup typically, right? Corner matchup, etc.
Renfro has already proven himself that he is that type of receiver. He doesn't drop passes, and Carr's already built that relationship with him. I think that Adams coming into the picture just boosts Renfro's like value up that much more. And I see Renfro as a heavy sleeper when we want to talk sleepers this year. I think Adams still does what he does. He produces, but I think there's a bit of a regression when we look at his overall numbers by season end. And I think that you see more of a balance or a closer knit on numbers between, like, again, saying they do good, saying Carr has a really good season, but it's not like Adams is way up here and Renfro's way down here. It's like this, like Adams, Renfro, like they're similar, they're close, they're teetered. So again, going back, you guys look at my fantasy teams where Renfro's there and I can take him, I'm snagging him, I'm stealing him. I feel like it's a straight steal because I just see such an increase, such a progression from Renfro with Davante Adams coming in the picture now. That's how I see it.
It reminds me a lot of, like we hinted on it earlier, but bringing Diggs in and how Cole Beasley got that boost that you're talking about.
And now Gabriel Davis, right?
Yeah, I think we're going to see also, Darren Waller is going to get a boost definitely in just regular production because he's now going to be – it'll be interesting to see if they use him like more as a split-out tight end, how they utilize him because he's a mismatch nightmare for a lot of guys in the league.
And so that's another thing you bring up, Balls. Like, so Waller, right? Waller's going to produce a lot too. So now you got Waller. I mean, they have the weapons, like Brady says, like the Derek Carr fans of the world, the Jimmy Guns, I love you brothers of the world, like that love Carr and talk him and hype him up. Like, this is it, man. If Carr can't get it done with what he has right now, again, we're not sure of the offensive line. There could be some holes there that might allude to him not being able to do or show his full potential if he doesn't have that time. But some of that's got to be created by the quarterback themselves too. If he can't get it done this year, I don't think he can get it done, right? Like, I would take Adams and Renfro and Waller probably over any other three on any team right now if I had the three of them, right? I just don't think that Carr – that if I had the choice, I want Carr thrown to those guys, if that makes sense, right? As a lot of people probably feel. So that's why I'm a little like, well, definitely. If you're saying you would take those three offensive weapons if they got an all right defense, why wouldn't you see them as huge contenders? Because I have questions like a lot of people do about Carr. Like, I think he's a good quarterback. I'm not trying to say he's not. But is he the quarterback that can take that next level with that amount of talent they throw in front of him? And again, these people that think Adams is just going to like be this huge, yeah, he probably has been the best receiver in the last so many years. But now he's got to share all of this with Waller, who's probably one of the best tight ends besides Kels in the league, and he's got to share it with Renfro. And again, I already told you guys my takes on Renfro. Now you're throwing Waller in the mix too, who is, like you said, may line up as a receiver 3 sometimes, not even as a tight end because they can utilize him that way. There's no way Davante Adams is going to be – he's going to get the toughest matchups week in and week out. And yes, he can elude most of them. He might even get double teamed sometimes if teams don't figure out that what Renfro's ability is and Waller. They already know Waller's ability, but Renfro's ability as well. And I just feel like that's going to balance them out so much more. Like, I don't see Adams just being like a through the roof receiver this year. I'm passing up on him in the drafts in the tops. I'm not taking him. So that's my take. That's my insight on it.
All right, so let's wrap up the AFC real quick. Keep it moving then. One word, no explanation. Who's your pick out of the AFC this year to represent in the Super Bowl? Nate, you're on the spot. Make it quick.
Bills.
Deafness.
Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills.
Brady.
I go Chargers.
I'm taking the Buffalo Bills as well. So Brady. I like it though, Brady. I like you going out on a limb. I like it.
I was gonna say Buffalo because I love Josh Allen, but
I think they're the most complete team in the NFL. So moving to the NFC now. Let's go in the West. Let's start with the Bears' week 1 opponent, the San Francisco 49ers.
Mhm.
Did they make the right move by going to Trey Lance, a guy that hasn't really played? I know we don't know a lot yet. We've seen a lot of preseason. At what point, if Trey Lance struggles, do you go back to Jimmy G? How long is his leash? Do you go back to Jimmy G?
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement here. I mean, I think you made this decision, you made this step. You got to roll with it. You got to see where it takes you. And if he struggles for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, I mean, so be it. It's got to be what it's got to be. Like, again, we see this time and time with quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks that teams decide to buy into early, or whether they're ready or they're not ready, and they don't succeed. You gotta let them go through the growing pains. You gotta let them figure things out, and then hey, season end, if they're 4-12 or whatever, and he just had a crap, then you probably just make other decisions, right? You go and draft another quarterback. What do you do, right? But you're not gonna make these kind of decisions and just after 3-4 weeks switch it up. I just don't see it happening. And from all the talks out there, there's a lot of people that are really bought into him, and I don't know. I'll let these guys speak on it. I don't think I'm heavily bought in on him, but I want to hear what these guys have to say about Land.
Yeah, they pretty much moved to Trey Lance because Trey Lance, he just has a bigger, like, big play, more explosive QB than Jimmy G, because Jimmy G, like, obviously solid, more like a game manager, not trying to make any mistakes, to try to put a team in the right place to win. So that's mainly why they went to Trey Lance. But yeah, Trey Lance got a lot of pressure on, though, because for 49ers, obviously they're pretty much like a win down team. They got plenty weapons on there. You got Debo, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. They got solid running backs, solid defense. So they definitely and like this is a team that went to the Super Bowl a few years back. So it's kind of like, all right, you're moving on for a QB that led y'all to the Super Bowl for a young quarterback. Like I said, like, is it the right decision? Will Trey Lance actually ball out and show his potential as a first round pick? That's pretty much the biggest question for the 49ers this year.
Well, I think Nate, you'd mentioned they have a solid defense. I think they have a top 2 defense. I think it's them and Buffalo, and so I think that's the bet that they're making, right?
Yeah.
Trey Lance might not be the best quarterback to win you game 1 through 8, right? If I had to go win a game the first 8 weeks, I'm probably playing Jimmy Garoppolo. But the second half of the season is where Trey Lance, they hope, is going to have experience and be able to lead that football team. And what they're betting right now is that their defense is good enough to hide mistakes that he makes when he's learning the first half of the season. They're hoping that Joey Bosa and those guys, or Nick Bosa and those guys, just make it so he doesn't have to make all the big plays, right? And that's their hope. And so we'll see if it pays. We'll see if it plays out. There's a good chance the 49ers don't make the playoffs if Trey Lance struggles. It's going to be riding a lot on that defense. And if the defense does show up and Trey makes those advances that they want him to, then there's a chance they go 12, 13 wins and you see him in the NFC Championship game again. So it's a bet they're willing to make, right? And Balls, you had mentioned, when you pull the plug, the only way I think is if you get to week 12, 13, and it's just not working out and you're a 500 football team, that would be the only scenario, because when you're early in the year, you're going to go through some growing pains. When you get to the end of the year and you have 3 or 4 games left and a playoff berth's on the line, then that's when you feel like, all right, we've been trying to see Trey make strides here. Yeah. It's now the best of the organization to try to put whatever quarterback on the field that's going to help us win the game. They might think that's still Trey Lance. there's a good chance that it might still be Trey Lance. There's also a chance that they look and they go, Jimmy's been here. He's taken us here. We're paying him on our roster to be the backup. We want some veteran there. He gives us the best chance.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare scenario for the 49ers fans. They want to be 10, 12 wins, going 3 weeks left in the year and Trey Lance is balling out. But it's a question.
But let's look at it, too. Even in that nightmare scenario, if he does struggle and it's not the AFC where we talked. There's a lot of teams that are vying for that last wild card spot. It's not that in, the NFC. So they do probably have a bit longer of a leash.
Yep.
We'll move on from the Niners. I think we hit them pretty.
I just want to add like one or two little things. And I think Brady hits it on the head. Like, if they're in that contention, whatever, and he's just not really doing it. But then again, like if they're almost at the contention spot where this is really his first year just taking on the team, there's two ways to look at that, right? Well, he's got him here, even though we have probably one of the best defenses in the league. He's still gotten us to closest point. But what I was more or less saying earlier was, if they just completely struggled and they're like 4 and 12, well,
right.
You know what I mean? Like they're not going to be in the hunt for a playoff or getting close too. They're whatever. They're
4-8,
4 and 10 or whatever, 4 and wherever we're close, getting close to the end of the season. Like that's where I think you just play it out and just say, forget it. Don't worry about it. We'll figure out what we're going to do next year. Like when we get there, see if he can gain any growth from being in the position he's in now, being just a shit team on the bottom.
Right. And I think the reason I brought that up though is because I think more and more NFL teams are starting to realize how small windows can be. Right.
Right.
The Chicago Bears. Think of 2018. We finished 12-4. We lost on a double doink, and the immediate thought was run it back next year. Like we'll be back. Right. Guess what? The defense got another year older. Mitch didn't take the next step. Right. So that's why I was saying if they have a playoff berth on the line, I think they might just sit there and go, Jimmy's going to get us to the playoff and we'll roll with that. It might not help Trey Lance long term, but I think a lot of these NFL teams, when you talk about general managers, a lot of that stuff, like you don't have that many years in the NFL. If you don't crack it in the first couple of years, you don't have that many shots. The window could be a 2-year window. It could be a 1-year window. So, at that point, it'll be a coin flip, and they'll have to make a decision. But
I want to, before we move on to another team, I just want to add one thing. And I don't know if you're going to really see him as a sleeper, but, everybody's really heavy on Debo. And they got Brandon Ayuk there. I think Ayuk could have the potential to take that next leap this season as well and be kind of a topper tier receiver. So just another guy to kind of put in the back and rims of kind of where I see things, and you got to remember too, like whatever happened with the whole Debo thing, like he wanted out of San Francisco and then everything's good now. So, I mean, is there still something that's lingering there or are we good with Debo and the Niners? Like
he got
I know
paid.
he's
He got a
staying
new
there.
contract.
I get it, but he still wanted out. You know what I mean? Like
he wanted money. It was all negotiating.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, let's move on.
So one team that won't be in contention is Seattle. They obviously don't have a quarterback to compete right now. They're literally considering Geno Smith, a guy that got punched in the jaw way back in the day, and couldn't make a start. I think the big question is, at least for me, and I don't know if you guys have another perspective, but like even keeping it DFS related, Tyler Lockett and DK, where do you guys put them this year?
It's tough.
I'm out on them.
Yeah.
There's too many good wide receivers. There's too many good wide receivers on good football teams.
Yeah. Like in fantasy, I'm avoiding them.
The only thing I can think of is if you get them late, like in a fantasy situation, if you have an opportunity to get DK, they're going to be a bad team. They may see volume late at games. End of games where you're scoring needless, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Garbage time.
Yeah.
Or I would take DK in a dynasty league still.
Yes. And I would also take DK like in a decent spot too, because even with the likes of quarterbacks like Geno Smith and anybody else, like they're no matter how bad their offense is, they're going to get in positions where they're in the red zone. They're going to get in positions where they're somewhere around there. And who do you want? Do you want a big guy like DK who's a big target who can get up, reach a little bit more? I would take Metcalf over Lockett. Lockett's ability is more of like a deep threat guy, like a deep, whatever sneaky type. Metcalf is more just that big dude with the freaking pacifier that just gets shit done, Like so is what it is. Like that's where I'm at. So that's where I'm Metcalf.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page. Avoid them unless there's some kind of value there, and even then, who knows? I think we can move on from Seattle. Let's go to Arizona. Kyler Murray seems to start the year out hot, gets a little banged up, falls off towards the end of the season, mid-season, and Arizona isn't the team that they were. They lost D-Hop. I think it's for
6 games?
6 games?
Yep.
6 games. So can Kyler, I'm just going to say, can he compete with the Rams in the division with Matthew Stafford in them? Can he elevate his team? Because I'm not big based on he can avoid hits, but eventually in the NFL, you are going to get hit. And I'm not big on his size, and I know so far he's been able to maneuver his size throughout his life, but I'm just not big on the durability of that factor long term with Kyler. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, Cardinals gonna be an interesting team, especially starting out because, like I said, no D-Hop for his first 6 weeks, so they gotta rely on Marquise Brown, Rondell Moore. They do have Zach Ertz, the tight end. James Conner is now the guy running back because Chase Edmonds is in Miami, I think. So it's gonna be a bunch on Kyler's shoulder. Like he's gonna show like if he's actually like gonna be like one of the better QBs or he's just solid. So there'll be more pressure on him this year than I think than previous years to make plays and elevate the team like you mentioned.
I'm just kind of looking here. I'm looking at the there's a tiered system that they have for the quarterbacks, and it's Allen, Herbert, Mahomes, Jackson first tier. Second tier is Hurts, Kyler, Burrow, Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott. I think I take Burrow. I take Burrow over Kyler. I take Hurts over Kyler. I probably take Russell over Kyler.
Yeah.
I think I might take Dak over. So I just don't think he's in that top tier. I just don't trust him. I just don't. There's just guys I like more than him, and I know his contract's going to be an issue coming over the next year or so. There was the whole offseason rumor with him and Cliff Kingsbury and the issues there. So it's just not a fun situation. I know they went and got Ertz. I know Hopkins will be back the last 10 games, but that division's really tough, and it almost feels like a make or break year for both Kingsbury and Kyler. So we'll see.
I'll just add in a couple things too. Like, yeah, I stay away from Kyler Murray. Like keeper leagues, everything. I'm not even fantasy wise. I don't want him. I don't want anything to do with Kyler Murray. And maybe he goes out and he proves us all wrong as we sit here and just not want anything to do with him. But I mean, D-Hop, Rondell Moore. I mean, he's got these weapons, right? But just too many mistakes. Like too many mistakes, and it is part of his mistakes that he does in his wrongdoings, whatever. Does that somewhat have to do with maybe, like, believe it or not, his size? I mean, we bring it up, and it's never really been an issue for him. But this guy is always towered by linemen. He can't even see half the time what he's doing. There's no way he can unless he scrambles completely outside of the pocket and just has nobody anywhere near him. Like, it's just not it's just, I don't know. A 5'10" quarterback in the NFL, like not buying it, man. I'm not buying it. Maybe that's part of the issue. Maybe that's part of his problems. So I don't want to touch him. I'm not touching him. I don't want anything to do with him.
So we'll transition to the defending Super Bowl champions. Brady's team that he had early and often throughout the season.
Yes, sir.
Besides the Bucks, he was very high on both those teams last year. I'll say it's an addition by just him being back, hopefully for the full year. Cam Akers is a huge addition to that offense. And I got to give him some love, definitely. You know, I've been on him for a long time. But my boy A-Rob, Allen Robinson, and Brady, I know you got to see him. He's getting his first true NFL quarterback. I think even in his college career, I think he played with Christian Hackenberg. The guy has not had a quarterback in his life. And now he gets Matthew Stafford. And they're the favorites in the division. They're probably one of the top 3 NFC favorites, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Besides Aaron Donald swinging helmets at other players, you know, how do they lose? How do you beat this team? You know, obviously getting to the quarterback, there's that, but where can a team beat them in the playoffs? Where can another team match up and beat them? Where do you guys see that?
I mean, I guess it's just one of the things like you just got to be able to keep that offense on the sideline. You just got to try to make it like a physical, grind out kind of game because obviously Matthew Stafford, you got Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, so the offense gonna be great. So like, you just gotta just try to just keep that offense on the side and just try to make sure it's like not a shootout.
Well, I think let's not forget, as great as Matt Stafford was last year, he makes mistakes.
Yeah.
He is a guy that you can take advantage of because he's going to try to fit a tight window or force the ball, and that's partially because of the offense they had. They could not run the ball at all last year.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that's kind of what you were talking about. Cam Akers coming back, hopefully helping them there. But turnovers. If you can get a game like that where Matt Stafford throws 2 picks, like, you're going to be fine. And that's what the teams that played him tough, like 49ers played him tough a couple times. You know, they lost to the Jets. Remember that near the end of the year. So the Buccaneers played him tough. They're a tough defense. So.
But you're gonna get that any tough team. You're gonna get that. You're gonna get that off week, right?
Right.
It's going to happen. We see it time and time again with the best teams out there. And like you say, you talk about the mistakes. Every quarterback out there, even the top quarterbacks, make mistakes, right? I mean, we can go through, we can look at it. But again, part of that too is like being able to be confident in taking like those tight window, like you say, those tight window passes, those shots at, you know, making something happen. It's kind of like the Tampa game, right? Like, oh, Tom Brady's going to do it again. And then all of a sudden Stafford comes and finally just does it and like makes it happen. And we talk about Cam Akers, right? But there's going to be some question marks with Cam Akers, right? Because all of his mistakes he made, right? That almost cost them the game in the playoffs. I mean, there's fumble. Like, he fumbled twice in biggest game one of his biggest games of his life. I mean, that could be suspect. That could linger in the back of his head. That could linger in the back. I mean, I think Sean McVay is one of those guys that, you know, he tries to be forgetful quick, like with things like that. If he believes or he's bought into a player, where it's not going to linger or be an issue if it gets down to that, or he wants to throw it to or give it to somebody else. But, you know, there's going to be those little question marks too. I mean, I still think the Rams compete. I still think they're right up there. I don't know. I don't see it Stafford's like at the top of his game right now. Obviously, having a team, having a defense behind him, like I always preached last year as well. Like it's just different, He doesn't have to play from behind all the time. He doesn't have to make sure that he's putting up points every time their offense is on the field to compete, to be in the game. Like it doesn't all have to be shouldered on him. Kind of going back to the whole when we talked about the Chargers with Herbert this coming season and his ability to make that jump, and them, like you saying, Brady, winning 12 games this year coming up, like, which I agree with. That defense, the building that defense to not having like putting all the pressure on the quarterback all the time. So
I will say I am on the balls train of Allen Robinson. I love the dude.
Yeah, he's great.
I think he's going to be huge this year, especially with the known commodity that is Cooper Kupp now. I mean, Cooper Kupp had one of the greatest receiving seasons of all time last year.
Is OBJ is he signed yet, or did the Rams sign him yet? Or
ACL till December. But I just want to look quick at Allen Robinson's stats, excluding last year because any offense led by Matt Nagy shouldn't count. 2020 and 2019, he had 200 receptions, 1,400 yards, and 13 touchdowns in 2 seasons. Like, that's 100 catches, a 1,000-yard receiver. Like, give me that next year. I'll take that. I hope he is the same player he was those years for the Bears.
So we're gonna transition real quick to the team that the Rams knocked out of the playoffs, to the Tampa Bay Bucks. Chris Godwin isn't going to start the season. It may start the season as, a wide receiver. He's kind of back this week. We don't know if he'll be on like a pitch count. Tom Brady missed time in the preseason. I know we all don't make a big deal out of it. Brady hinted on
is in the mix.
They have a great defense as well. A top NFL top 6 defense probably within the league that's going to keep them within games. My big question for all you guys is this the year that we finally see the decline from Tom Brady?
Like he made the decision to retire and come back, and then he's just gonna bust.
No, and here's the thing. So take this for what
Brady's not gonna let him go down. Look at him. He's gonna
listen. I was listening to a podcast today from Pat McAfee, and they said they were on the field and they were watching Tom throw, and they said it hasn't changed. It has not changed at all. He's still sharp. He's still firing bullets around the field, and so I think they'll be in the thick of it. And whether it's a championship or not, it'll be a question. But there'll be a 1 or a 2 seed going into the playoff.
But Brady, do you feel like there's teams now with all of the moves and changes, like just looking at it on paper right now, don't you feel like there's maybe just a few more teams that are up there a little bit higher than them, even if he has a great season per se, right?
Okay, who in the NFC? I can think of one team.
Who?
The Rams. It's the only team. I don't trust the Cowboys. The Giants, Eagles, Commanders, all trash.
It comes down to the quarterback. It comes down to Tom Brady is on the other side. And if you think –
okay, Nate, I'll take that back. Eagles aren't trash, but they're not going to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Cardinals, no. 49ers, not with Trey Lance. Seahawks, no. Bears, Lions, Vikings, I think could make the playoffs and win a game maybe. But Packers, without Devontae and everything, not huge on it. So, I mean, and then the Saints, Panthers, Falcons. I mean, I think it's 2 teams. I think it's the Rams and the Bucks, and then you're going to have 6 teams that are going to be sitting there at 10 wins.
I think the Saints are going to be a team that are going to be a surprise. And I think Winston's going to have a season this year.
You think?
Yep.
We didn't trust him last year. He didn't do anything.
So Brady, here's my question then. Who won the divorce? Tom Brady or Bill Belichick right now?
Right now, Tom Brady, but it's to be determined. From what I've heard, the New England's offense is dysfunctional.
We talked about that.
We did hit on that. That's why I wanted to get your feedback while we had Tom Brady.
Here's the thing. you have to give Bill the opportunity to develop another team. You got to give him like 5-6 years. You know, Tom, you get it immediately. You got him with the Bucks. You're gonna have 4 years there. You can see what his career is gonna end up with. You got to give Bill another window. Brady can't leave, and everybody who was with Brady can't just leave, and you'd be like, oh, Bill Belichick was terrible the next 3 years. No doubt. Like they have to rebuild.
So Definus hinted at a team, and that's the Saints with Jameis Winston. Goofy, man. Are we gonna eat a W in New Orleans this year? Are we?
I hate the Saints, dude. I absolutely hate the Saints. But I'm gonna tell you something. I think Crab Legs. I think Winston is gonna be a surprise fantasy quarterback. I think he's gonna be in the tops of talks. Like I honestly, hey, you know, someone who's coming back, who's healthy, one of the top receivers in the league. Did we forget about him? Michael Thomas?
Oh, Slant Man.
Did we forget about Michael Thomas? He just hasn't been around for a little while.
I mean, it's what have you done for me lately? I don't have high expectations for him. I
think he's gonna surprise because again, he's not somebody that just fell off. It was injury, right? So, like, I think
they got Jarvis Landry. They got Chris Olave, right?
Yep.
Those are the wide receivers.
A beast. Yep.
I don't know who their tight end is. You could tell me Ted Ginn Jr. plays for him. I'd believe you. Because he seems
and
like
he would probably rip off a 99-yard kickoff return.
Yeah, he's always played for that team.
Yeah.
Do we see the Saints? Where are they in that division then? Are they the second team?
I'm about to say second team.
Yeah.
Because
second.
Yeah, because I see Atlanta probably last. Carolina can be the second team, but
Atlanta's going to be an interesting. I don't think this year, but Atlanta could be an interesting team as if these picks develop over the course of time. Not saying this year.
They need a quarterback.
Well,
I think they got Runner.
No,
there's talks of Desmond. He could be that dude. They got that Tyler Aguilar.
I'm not believing that. I'm not believing in Ritter.
We'll see. I mean, I'm reading a lot of different things out there with some of the fantasy guys that.
Yeah, and I heard about Kellen Mond for 4 years. And where is he now?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I'll say this too.
No, it's because we cut him because we are making some insane moves. We're only running with 2 quarterbacks. We even cut Mannion, who we've had on our team for how many years as a backup? We've had Mannion for like 5 years. They said XJ, we're getting rid of everybody. We're only keeping a lead here. That's why I'm going to tell you guys, things is changing around these parts of the hoods.
So I all think if we're going to bring it back to betting Calvin Ridley style, right? Atlanta, are we taking the under on wins? I don't know what the under is.
Wait,
4.5.
Well, they're not going to be anything this year. I mean, like I said,
4.5. Are we going under?
The possibility of developing over time.
I might go over. Like, if I go get 5 wins, still go just over.
I'm guessing 2-15. That's my guess.
Wow.
I got 4-13. They're under.
Yeah, but yeah, like I need to go get literally 5, like exactly, literally just over the 4.5.
I'll give them 4 wins.
4 wins. So year. Under. Everybody's under, but Nate, I love it. All right, let's move to the next team then. Let's go Carolina.
Baker
said, I'm going to come out. He's going to, like, flip him off, give him the suck it. Hopefully.
Grab his junk
at the 50-yard line. Full 90s wrestling. I would love for him to, like, fucking just stun Jacoby Brissett or stun the coach. I don't care. Somebody. What do you guys?
I think one of your biggest question marks here is going to be, as it has been the last couple of years, can they keep McCaffrey healthy? Like, can they honestly keep the guy on the field, keep him healthy? Because when they lose him, they just go down. You can totally tell that whole offense is 100% played off CMC, which I get it, right? He's that type of player. He should be. But, like, once they lose him, they're just garbage. Like, they try to bring Scam Newton back in, throughout the years and do his thing with the rushing, be a bully quarterback, whatever you want to call it, and still it just doesn't do crap. So my biggest thing with them, I mean, I honestly don't see them being any kind of real contenders. And like you already kind of know what my feelings are with CMC. He's made of glass. He's very fragile. He's overutilized. I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about the Panthers. Keep pounding. Keep pounding. Hey, you've been a little hard on the Beeve lately. Keep pounding. So that's about all I got.
Yeah.
Nate Brady, you guys got anything you want to add?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm pretty with Def. Like, I really don't know how to feel about the Panthers team. I'm like, yeah, they got Baker Mayfield. I mean, obviously he's motivated to prove something. I mean, they got DJ Moore, they got Terrence Marshall, they got Robbie Anderson. So they actually got some receivers out there, but I'm like, can Baker get them the ball consistently? I don't think so. So yeah, they're probably like the third team in the league. I mean, third team in that division. So yeah.
Watch out for Chuba Hubbard this year. I think they're gonna use him quite a bit. One, to spell McCaffrey, and two, if McCaffrey can't stay healthy, which he hasn't been able to, he's going to be.
Yeah, they got to change something up to keep him healthy, and I think that'd be a good thing. But the other thing, like you say, is we might see a lot more of him. Not that we want to see anybody ever get hurt, but doesn't McCaffrey go down week 2, week 3, and be out 8 weeks or the season or whatever? It's kind of a trend. So, and does Hubbard kind of come in and fill that role?
And it happens all the time in the NFL,
especially with the running backs. But
yeah, I mean that's why it's the best 53, right? You need a complete football team. It's the outside of quarterback, you need a complete football team. So.
All right, let's transition to the NFC least. Let's just start it out. The Giants. There's a team full of questions. Saquon. Is Saquon going to do anything? Obviously, he's not lived up to the number 2 pick hype. Is Daniel Jones? Where is he in this whole mix?
Be interested in what I have to say here.
Where is he in this whole mix? And
might be the worst contract in the history of the Giants, the Kenny Galladay contract.
Oh yeah.
And I was going to bring up that awful contract. That guy's just quit on football completely and is getting paid.
Dude used to score 4 touchdowns, like be the 4 touchdown monster. Now he just doesn't do crap. Just
obviously they're terrible. So we can move quick. But thoughts on Saquon? Nate, I want to hear kind of yours as well.
Two things. I do think we see, and again, a lot of this goes back to, like we talked all night about offensive line. I don't really know where their line is at. I haven't really looked at who they got, who they picked up, what holes they filled on that offensive line side of things. But I do feel like Barkley makes a bounce back this year, and I do feel like my take on Barkley being, and I'm not saying that they're going to be like this contending football team, that they're going to be in a playoff, so they're going to be that great. I'm saying overall production-wise, I think we're going to see Barkley bounce back. And I think with Barkley bouncing back, I'm a big fan of Toney, Kadarius Toney. I think the dude has a lot of potential. They also have Slayton. Darius Slayton has shown huge signs that he can make things happen and get things done. Daniel Jones has weapons. Who was the tight end they picked up last year? They picked up somebody else. Evan Ingram was their main one, wasn't it? But then didn't they get someone else like a somewhat bigger name, or is it still just Evan Ingram?
No, Evan Ingram. He's on the Jaguars now.
Yeah, he got traded. Who did they get?
Their starting tight end is Daniel Bellinger.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so who was it last year though? They must have got rid of him.
I don't remember anybody.
You're about to say like for some reason the Giants never had like a great tight end outside like Jeremy Shockey. Like past like
Well, Evan Ingram, I mean, was supposed to have some great talent, but he never really panned out the way they thought he was going to. Ingram, but anyway, going back to it.
Was a good pick.
Going back to it, I think he's a guy that I really like. I'm drafting him when he's in his positions, but Daniel Jones is a quarterback that I feel can not win a Super Bowl, not go deep in playoffs, but I think he can put up some decent numbers. I think he can be that possibility of being like that QB2 backup, whatever, in a fantasy league where you have a star quarterback where you need a guy if he goes down, whatever. I think Daniel Jones might surprise some people this season as far as the type of numbers he puts up. Again, not saying he leads the Giants to some crazy winning season or whatever, but I think overall, I think he has the ability to put up some decent numbers. And I think Barkley, with the bounce back and what I feel Barkley will do and prove to show who he is. Again, some of this will render again how the offensive line is and gels, but I think that's going to help Daniel Jones and kind of where he stands and his development and his play. So that's where I'm at. You guys probably think I'm crazy, but that's why I like to take different stands.
Nate, you got anything you want to add differently, or?
Yeah, I mean, I guess on my end, I don't like it is their offense. I just don't trust at all because I'm like the offensive line hasn't really been that good. I know, like they threw like big money at Nate Solder and he's been brutal. I know they've been trying to draft some guys, but they haven't really panned out. The receivers, I'm like all they pretty much quit on the team. They're slaying. Like I need well, like where they looking to trade them like a few days ago. Like they had on like on trade block or like trying to trade. So they don't believe in him. Kadarius Toney, if he could be healthy this year, he could ball out. But I just don't trust the offense and the defense. I don't think is that good either. Like I know they lost. Well, they released James Bradbury because now he's on the Eagles. So they lost like one of their top corners. So yeah, like I just don't trust the team at all to do anything this year. And like their over under wins is 7.5, but I think it's high for the Giants. So
7.5 for the Giants?
yeah, 7.5. I'm looking at it right now on FanDuel.
Yeah, I'm taking that under all day.
Yeah,
that's free money.
Yeah. So then let's transition to another team that I don't think's really good in that division.
Watch us all lose that money real quick.
That's how they get us. But hey, Washington, the Commanders.
The Commanders.
Yeah.
The defense is good, but Carson Wentz is trash. So
yeah. Anything else we want to add?
Brian, what's our takes on Brian Robinson? I mean, we still have Antonio Gibson, who's obviously a beast. He's in the wrong offense, you know. I mean, he's still going to produce for you, but he's not going to produce where you want him to because he just doesn't have a quarterback. He doesn't have that. They don't have that great pass ability, like you said. Wentz being trash.
What was the last update on Robinson? Because I know is he gonna? I don't
know how long is he out.
Yeah, I don't know. Like they really said much recently on like his timetable coming back. I think he's probably gonna miss at least week 1. But after that, I'm not sure.
Is he the guy that got shot?
Yeah,
he got shot during an armed robbery.
Shot in the leg, and then he got back up and said, "What's up? I'm gonna keep playing football."
You got to miss more than 1 week of football, I'm assuming, right?
I'm guessing it's a couple months.
Nate,
is he gonna play?
Nate, where are you getting your reports from, bro?
Hey, like I said, like I haven't heard much on this, so I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna be.
Nate's telling you at least, hey, I know he's out week 1.
Yeah, like I know he's out week 1.
I ain't gonna speculate on any weeks after week 1.
I ever heard much on this, so I'm like.
That's how much we really want to talk about Washington as we're talking about a player that got shot, not the actual team.
Yeah.
Dallas.
Please post Brad's comment. Please post Brad's comment.
Anybody else want a limp?
No, please post Post Brad's comments in the video underneath the video.
Hey.
Dallas. What
We're watching go commando.
Do the next one too. Also, definitely muted yourself.
Hey.
I like it. That's awesome.
Oh.
Dallas. It seems to be a two-man race in this division, Dallas and Philly. I can see where Brady's leaning on this. Brady, why you got Dallas over Philly in this? Besides Philly's trash and the fans are trash.
I just had to take a shot at Nate.
Yeah, he's all good.
I like their pieces better. I think I like Dak. I think Dak is a better chance of producing this year than Hurts does. I still like Hurts long term. He's my quarterback in multiple dynasty leagues, but I still need to see more, I guess. But the biggest question mark in Dallas is Amari Cooper's gone, right? So CD's bona fide number one. Let's go be a superstar.
I love Lamb.
I do too. I drafted him in multiple dynasty leagues. I have him. They gave Gallup a lot of money to be the number 2. Zeke, obviously. I like the Zeke-Pollard combo. I think they need to split that more. Zeke doesn't need to be a 25 carry guy anymore. He just doesn't need to.
No.
That's not his role anymore. So it'll be a competitive division, but I just lean towards the quarterback play, and until I see a little bit more from Hurts, I'm going to lean Dak and Dallas. That's literally, and that's like I said, it's splitting hairs, to be honest with me.
Def, Nate, you guys want to add anything to Dallas?
I'm gonna take Dallas over Philly too. I'm not gonna trash talk my boy Nate though in Philly. I'm gonna show him some love for now. But no, I mean, I don't know. Dak, again, yes, Cooper's gone, but Lamb, like you said, Gallup, Cedric. Did Cedric stay in Dallas or did he go somewhere? Cedric Wilson?
No, he went somewhere else.
So yeah, there's three Tolbert.
Who's receiver? Oh yeah, Tolbert, the rookie. So that's another guy to talk about. I like him.
And Schultz is good. Schultz is good tight end.
Yeah, tight end Schultz.
Yep.
I like Tolbert though too a lot as a late draft pick in fantasy leagues because I think you're gonna see that. That's the one thing with Dallas and like Prescott and the quarterback and the ability of what he is he's gonna take a lot of shots with Lamb, but he also likes to spread it out to all of his receivers. Like his receiver threes, like the Cedric Wilsons of the world, they have 2 touchdown games in seasons. I mean, you see it, and that's just how Dak is as a quarterback, and that's how Dak has those 340 pass yard, 4 or 5 touchdown games, and a couple of them throughout the season usually. So, again, that's kind of where I go there. Same thing on the Hurts side. I mean, I like Hurts. I think Hurts donut can be something, but who are they throwing to? Like
they got AJ Brown now.
Devontae Smith. They picked up Brown. They got rid of Rieger, which again he wasn't really doing a lot in Philly anyway.
Yeah.
Like I think it's just not the right offense. That's why the change. But they do have and I love Dallas Goedert. I love their tight end too. Like I'm a huge fan of Goedert, but I need to see more from Hurts to be 100% bought in. Dak, you know what you're getting from Dak, right? He's showing that year in, year out that he's been able to be on the field. He can be he can be like any quarterback we talked about tonight, right? Even the best, they make mistakes. Yeah. They can make them. They're gonna make them.
Nate, tell them why they're wrong. Tell them why Hurts is better and Philly's the better team.
Trash talk us.
Man, literally, like a lot of the success for the Eagles this season is gonna be Jalen Hurts. Definitely got things like Jalen Hurts has got to be just a better, consistent passer because we got weapons like you said. We got AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. We got like Miles Sanders and
Gainwell.
Gainwell.
Yep, and then like offensive line is one of the best in the league. So we got weapons on the offense. So if he can just become a better passer, and then like on defense, we had a lot of people. We got James Bradbury. We still got like Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat on D-line. We drafted N'Kobe Dean, Jordan Davis. So we got a lot of pieces to be a really great team. But like I said, for a bunch of these teams, it just depends on the QB play. So if Hurts could just elevate his game and become a better, more accurate passer, which he has been working on all season, so if he does that, then we should be in good shape.
I've been making some comparisons. It's been, watching teams to kind of compare.
Mm-hmm.
I like to look at Hurts and Tua here, and I know that's like an obvious comparison, but both of them went and made a splash for a receiver for them. They have two really good receivers, a tight end that's definitely, usable, and a running game that should hopefully suffice. So it's really on those guys there, So it'll be interesting, totally different offenses, but to see who's more successful out of those two there.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is that Hurts does. I mean, Philly, when they played well last year, they pounded the football. So that is helpful for Hurts, especially because he does use his legs. But I love the trade for Gardner Johnson. I mean, has there been anything on the draft capital? I've been looking around, and basically it's all determined on how well he plays or how many games he suits up. Is kind of what it looks like, right? They're all like to be determined picks. So
I think there's all like conditional picks.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't think it was anything crazy though.
No, it surprised me because I'm like I don't have to pay more, but
it's a contract year, so I mean it's a 1 year thing for him. But I mean that's a big pickup on the defense, so it'll be interesting. I think like you said, it'll come down to Hurts.
And I don't know if you know about him, but he is a guy that is he's known to have a reputation to get into receivers.
Oh yeah,
try and get into their heads.
You mean like Javon Wims punching his helmet twice, like that?
After Anthony Miller had done it earlier.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Let's think of the smartest things you can do on a football field. 1, swing a helmet at somebody. 2, punch someone in the helmet.
So let's transition from a trash team and trash fan base to a trash quarterback person and family member in Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Because I hate him, and that's the last thing I'm going to say about Green Bay and them. So it's on you guys now.
It's the rookies, right? I mean, it's what
you got. You got the Dubs receiver. What's his face? You got Christian Watson, who had that surgery, who's already back, right? He should be ready for week 1.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see if those guys can, help take off some of that Devontae Adams. It's never going to replace it, right? But take some of that off of him and help Rodgers try to have a successful season in Green Bay.
They have Lazard, they have Watkins, they have Cobb, but it's going to be some of those young guys. I just can't.
How old is Cobb? Is he 50 now? I mean,
he's up there. But I cannot wait until there's a primetime game and one of these young guys runs the wrong route or doesn't cut in a way that Aaron likes, and he's just going to light him up on the sideline. Either light him up on the sideline, or they'll just get a glare.
With his really long hair, whirling in the wind.
Aaron has been known with Lazard and Valdez-Scantling when they were young. He was known to just ignore them if they literally did something wrong. Just wouldn't talk to them, wouldn't say a word, just wouldn't even acknowledge they were on the football team anymore. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, like definitely look for the Packers to run the ball much more this year, especially with just the inexperience at wide receiver. So I think Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon's gonna have pretty big years running the ball and catching the ball as well, because outside Al-Azhar, you got a bunch of just Al-Azhar and they ran
You know what I'm looking forward to week 1? Meet at the quarterback. Zaire Smith and Daniel Hunter smacking Aaron around, maybe breaking his collar. Well, I don't want anyone getting hurt, but his collarbone getting broken again so he can flick him off. Like he did Anthony Barr.
I love
That's all
it.
I gotta say. Packers. I already brought up Christian Watson, that Dobes dude, the other receiver. And those are kind of your guys you're looking at as far as on the offense side. Possible sleepers. Well, I don't know if you really call him Watson. They already have the high hopes for. He hasn't played a regular season game yet though, so you don't know. Dubs is that other guy that some people think can be an absolute sleeper. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
So next, we're going to go to the School of Hard Knocks, a team that is always in the bottom of the ranks, have not won an NFC North title. Fun fact, I always love sharing this. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won an NFC North division title sooner than the Detroit Lions have. The Buccaneers no longer play in the NFC North. For those of you guys that don't know, I don't think they have for like 15 years or something. But Detroit sucks, but I don't know if you guys have watched Hard Knocks. I absolutely love Dan Campbell. He is such a meatball, like dumb coach that you can see why the team plays really hard for them and why guys like Aiden Hutchinson, I think, is going to have a really good season. And, maybe they're not going to be the best offensively, but that team is going to try week in and week out. And if you take a week off against that team being Green Bay, they will beat you because they're not that bad of a team, but they are going to put the effort in because they're not that talented. What are your guys' thoughts? Have you got to see Hard Knocks?
I haven't seen Hard Knocks, but I mean, I can imagine and I can look at the players. Like, I'm a Amara St. Brown fan. Like, I think the kid's got ultra talent. We already know Hutchinson, man. We all got on that Michigan train, like with Hutchinson and Hoskins and all them guys, like last year, and him being in Detroit now. I think is just awesome. I think I think what makes it tough is Jared Goff. I think that's what just makes everything so tough for Detroit now. Like, it's almost like they go out and they get this superior defensive player in Aiden Hutchinson. It's like these moves, which you have to do, right? You have to make changes. Things happen. Players want to go different places, but it's like these few changes, these things that happened just a few years too late. With like the Stafford being in Detroit and
I think
not having St. Brown now, and like if you would have had guys like this, and not saying that they win a title, but who knows? Maybe they get that division championship. One of those years. But that's part of the process. Like, that's just the NFL. Players move, things shift, things happen, players come and go, and those different type of just different level players, defensive players, offensive players. The team has an opportunity to snag them every so once in a blue moon, and that typically comes with failing for a while to get those top picks. But man, they got in Swift. Like, I'm a big fan of Swift. I think Swift's got ultra talent. It's just Goff, man. Like, Goff just doesn't do it for me, man. Like, and I don't think he does it for a lot of people. But
where did the Lions pick last year in the NFL draft? Does anybody know? Second, and who'd they take?
Aiden.
Or I'm sorry. The year before that. My question is did they pass on Mac Jones? Did they pass on Justin Fields?
They passed on everybody. They took Penei Sewell, I think. Sewell?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, offensive lineman from Oregon.
Yeah.
And that was going to be kind of my point with the Lions' deafness is while you bring in Jared Goff, you're eating a ton of that money. Go get your young rookie. You're already eating that money. Get your affordable rookie contract, and then if Goff can't play, which he's showing you have that young rookie. It'd just be interesting if they had the availability to go get a guy like Mac Jones or Justin Fields, where that pick was and who they had the ability to get in that draft class.
So I'll read 2020 first. They had the 3rd overall pick. They took Okuda.
Oh, Justin
Okuda.
Okuda.
5 was Tua. 6, Justin Herbert.
There you go.
And then last year they took Penei Sewell at 7. Obviously, Lawrence, Wilson, and Lance went 1, 2, 3. So the next was Fields at 11, and then Mac Jones at 15, and they were picking at 7. So that's one of those ones where you don't want to reach too far on a QB. I mean, Penei Sewell he's a dang good offensive lineman and was touted as a pretty much all-pro type guy. So it's just one of those things where you put yourself in a situation now where you're building pieces, and now you're just sitting there and you're like, well, we hope we are not good this year so we get a top 7 pick, and then we have to go get our guy because last year's draft, it's just now you're hoping you're not good, which is not a good place to be in. So,
and as we've seen, as I'm going to transition into Chicago, it doesn't matter if you take that guy high, like a Mitch Trubisky, that guy still has to pan out in the league. This year, we've said it with other teams. Justin Fields, it's all on him for Chicago this year. We know the Bears, Brady. I know you're like me. The Bears aren't going to be good this year. I would be ecstatic with 7 wins. I think 5 is reasonable for this team because I do think they will be competitive this year, unless somehow Justin Fields takes some outstanding step that I don't think is coming yet. I think he's going to progress. But they've lost a lot defensively as well.
You want a hot take?
What's your thoughts?
You want a hot take?
Are you coming in with the Homer hot take here or what?
Oh, they're making the playoffs, Brady's saying. I love it. Let's hear it, Brady.
I think they go 9-8 this year.
Wow.
Do they make the playoffs?
And here's I'm not gonna tell you because I think they're an amazing football team. They have the second easiest schedule in the NFL. Like, it's bad. Like, we've talked about teams that are straight trash. Texans, Giants, the Patriots are not going to be a great football team. They play the Lions twice. They play the Falcons.
You don't think the Texans can beat them, though?
With Davis Mills, that game will be a blowout. That game will be a blowout.
In Chicago,
win by 3 touchdowns. It won't be close. It's
in Chicago on the road.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
You got the Lions twice. You got, the Falcons are in there. There's 6-7 games where they should have a very good chance to win.
And you named that, Brady. We didn't even add the 2 wins for Minnesota on there either. So
no, the Bears and the Vikings always beat each other up. I feel like they'll split or something. That's always a tough game. But I think the best time to play the 49ers is week 1. I don't think that's a game where they get blown out. I'll take Trey Lance in his first ever start at Soldier Field. Give me that. I'm not saying that they're going to win the game, but it's not like it's a check off loss. They're going to be in competitive games. They're going to be in a. You got to remember, the Bears won 6 games last year with Matt Nagy, Mitch Trubisky, and Andy Dalton at the helm.
Well, not Mitch. Justin Fields' rookie year.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Justin Fields. Yes,
but Andy, a team that decided to start Andy Dalton.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, but had a stronger defense probably than they do this year.
But Mac missed the whole year. Robert
Quinn played out of his mind. You lost. You're just getting bought into Brady's talk right now. You said it yourself that you lost. Your defense got worse this year.
Our defense.
The biggest issue is the wide receiving core. That's my biggest concern. You had all these other teams go and kind of get their guy to put around Justin Fields or put around their quarterback, right? You said Tua and Tyreek. You said Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. I honestly think the Bears failed Justin this year by not giving him anything. No, I'm not saying you need to go get Devontae Adams, but I think going into next year, their first round pick better be a wide receiver. And to be honest, if it's my choice, it's Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like that's the number one target. So I'm not saying the Bears are going to be out of their minds this year, but everybody predicting them to go 3-14 are out of their minds. This is not that kind of football team.
Yeah, and I agree, and I agree with the wide receiver. The only thing that I'm kind of happy about is now the Bears next year will have, I think it's like 120 million in free cap space. Now, while you might not have the chance to go get a wide receiver, is there other ways they can build the team around Justin Fields? And if Justin Fields really is that guy, can he elevate those teams to be better? So
yeah, and I'm probably being a little bit homer with 9 wins, but if they went 7-10 and Justin Fields played well, I'd be like, that's a good year. I'd be fine with it. You know, I think there's gonna be 5 games this year where they lose or win by a field goal. Yeah. And that's the way the NFL goes. They could either be 6-11 or they could be 8-9, 9-8. Like that's just the way the NFL goes when you're in those middle tiers. They're not a dominant team, but they're not a trash football team. I've seen them. There's been multiple outlets pick them at like 3-14, and I'm like, there's no chance.
No, and I think I know you watched some of the preseason, maybe a little bit.
Yep.
They definitely competed a lot more than you got to see, even with a Matt Nagy team. Yep. You know, the first few years. Nate, I want to know your opinion real quick. Justin Fields.
You can be honest too. You can be honest.
Yeah, be honest. Justin Fields, where do you put him on that class of last year? Brady named the QBs. You got the 5 QBs.
Yeah, it's Lawrence, Lance, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Mac Jones.
See,
where's Fields for you now, after the season, and long term?
So, I probably say right now, I probably have him. I probably say 3rd right now in that QB class. Basically, no. I probably have him 2nd behind Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, that's where I would have him as well.
Because like obviously Trey Lance is he's pretty much incomplete because we don't know how he's gonna play. Zach Wilson's been bad. He can't stay healthy, and then Mac Jones is starting a little bad. So, not looking good in the preseason. So, long term, I probably still see him 2nd long term, probably behind Lawrence. But it wouldn't surprise me if he does end up being the best QB, just having that like athleticism, ability, and everything like that. So, I'll see if the Bears can continue to like stay receivers around them, actually give them some targets to throw to. I sound like Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet. He could definitely shine there. So.
Yeah,
he could like I like Fields a lot. I definitely want to see him like really do well in Chicago. So
I think if you had to tell me if a superstar had to come out of those 5, I say it would be Lance or Fields. I think Trevor's got the highest floor. I mean, the stereotypical quarterback prospect that has been the last 20 years in the NFL. But I think Lance and Fields are kind of getting down to that, the Hurts, the Kyler, like use your legs, get out and run, like do some of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So, but I think it's a big year for the entire class, right? I mean, Lawrence to get out from the Urban Meyer shadow is a big thing for him. Zach Wilson, obviously, he's got. I mean, that team's not going to be terrible. Breece Hall's there; they got some weapons.
Yeah.
Max, the biggest question mark for me, because I know you guys said you touched on it, but the reports are that offense is terrible.
Yep, I heard too. Yep.
So that'll be a big question mark, and then Trey Lance, we'll see. So, but I think you're right on. I think right now it's 2, but I think if you had to pick a superstar coming out of those 5, I think it'd be Lance or Fields, to be honest.
And the last team we have to hit on is Minnesota. because I was gonna save it for Deafness since it's his stream, but let's be honest, nobody gives a shit about Minnesota. Kirk Cousins, let's say one thing about him. He puts tinfoil down before he grills his steaks on a grill. That's all you need to know about that guy.
Kirk Cousins is the best quarterback in the world to be just good enough to get ginormous contracts and then not have to like actually win stuff to like fulfill that contract. They're just like, here, take $100 million, let us win 9 games, and then we'll run it back next year. Oh, your number 1 wide receiver, let's let him go to Buffalo and we'll draft you a new one, and then we can do the same thing all over again.
You know, and what we're going to do is, at least I'm going to do it. You guys can join me when Def comes back. We'll be like, all right, and the Vikings, Def, and then I'm leaving the stream. I'm going to bail on him and just be like, you can handle it from here, buddy.
Yeah.
I think, like, let's see. I know a lot of people are being like, new offense coming from that McVay style with, I think his name's Kevin O'Connell. You know, a lot of people are very high on Justin Jefferson as a result. I know in Deafness's league, I took him with my pick. Thielen, there's still kind of, where's he going to be? They just picked up Rieger. You know, Minnesota was so pumped that Philly took Rieger, and now they kind of get their sloppy seconds to play wide receiver 3 for them. They've got Dalvin Cook. They still seem to be a pretty solid team. It really, I think, comes down to, 1, Kirk Cousins sucks. Who cares about him? But 2, the coach. You know, what does this new head coach do? How does he adapt to the team and the league? It's really unknown. You know, sometimes a team can have all the talent like that, and if you don't have a right coach in place, they don't know how to utilize that talent. So I don't have much to say on them. I know that they're probably going to be competing for the division / wild card. I mean, really, it depends on how Green Bay plays. Rodgers, I feel like, is still Rodgers. He's good enough to win the division for Green Bay. Minnesota, I think, may be talent-wise one of the best talented teams in the division, probably the most talented. I just don't know. I don't see it, and it's their quarterback.
I just don't. I'm just looking at their schedule here. I mean, they don't have a lot of cupcake games. They play New England, obviously 2 against Detroit, 2 against the Bears. I'm honestly thinking that's a 2-2, like maybe 3-1. They have the Giants. They play Green Bay, they play Philly, they play New Orleans, they play Arizona, they play Buffalo, they play Dallas, they play Indy. You know, it's not like an easy schedule. So they'll have some work to do for sure. I just don't. How long do you run Kirk Cousins out there? He just feels like a guy that can be like, hey, we got to the playoffs. Awesome. You have a top 5 wide receiver in the league. You have a good defense. Like I know they sunk however many millions of dollars into him, but it's just.
And it makes me wonder, like, okay, Malik Willis, how many times did they pass on him this year? Did they have a chance to take him?
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm not saying first round, but second round. It reminds me, I forget the team that we said, but like long term, it doesn't look like they're looking really long term. They're banking on Cousins to somehow not fuck it up and win them a title. And
yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking. So this year, Cousins $31 million cap hit. Next year, $36 million cap hit.
Jeez.
And then he's think, a free agent after that, or at least it's less guaranteed. I mean, it's a new head coach and a new GM, and you know what they want, right? They got to get their young quarterback and
Yep.
plant their job in that flag right with their young guy. So it's an interesting 2 years if you're a Vikings fan, because I just am not excited about Kirk Cousins long term, but it is kind of what you have to roll with the weapons they have currently. Oh, I
And
see a
even
dog coming on.
Zoe, not deafness.
You know, I saw the blanket moving, and I was like, "What is that?"
Honestly, that's really all right. We'll do it because I'm gonna keep it moving. Deafness. I'm sorry, brother. We'll get your opinion, I'm sure,
Yeah.
if you come back on. Who are you taking out of the NFC? Brady, I know yours. I think.
Do you know?
I feel like you're riding back with the Rams
Oh, yeah, I am.
again.
Yep, 100%.
Nate, tell me some Homer shit and go with the Eagles.
I want it so badly, but nah. But I'm actually go Tampa Bay. I think Tom Brady will try to come back one more year, try to win it all, then be okay. I'm like, now I'm officially done. So I'll go Buccaneers.
I'm gonna go. It's gonna hit very boom. Brady hit on it. They think he's gonna be a superstar. I'm gonna go with the Niners. The
Wow.
Niners. The
Really?
Niners. I think Trey is he's gonna bring a new dynamic, and I think that the one thing that they have is coaching, and it matters who your head coach is and how to use those players. I think he's smart enough. Shanahan is to utilize them correctly. So I'm gonna go the Niners versus the Bills. That's my guess.
Who do you have? If you had to pick somebody to win it, who would it be?
The Bills, because my brother and dad are Niners fans.
Yeah.
So losing another Super Bowl will bring me so much pleasure. My dad's a Niners fan and has Bears season tickets, right? So the one year the Bears make the Super Bowl, he shows up to the Super Bowl party we're at in a Dallas Clark jersey because they're playing the Colts. He rooted for the Colts in the Super Bowl versus the Bears. Yeah. So
Yikes.
I want the Niners, if they do make it that far, to lose every time. But
So
I'm gonna go with them. I'm gonna go boom or bust. Give me the Niners.
So I have a Los Angeles Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
I picked the Chargers and the Rams.
What
And
city is it in?
it's in Arizona.
I was hoping Vegas. I didn't know if it was Vegas this year.
So and I'm gonna go with the Chargers as their Super Bowl champion.
Okay.
And Nate, who'd you have?
Yeah,
You had Buffalo and Tampa Bay.
Buffalo, Tampa Bay.
Tom Brady gonna lose another Super Bowl, or is he adding another victim to the checklist? And Josh Allen.
No. Like I think if Tom Brady goes to the Super Bowl, he's gonna win it. So I say Tampa Bay. Tom Brady rides to the sunset with his 8th Super Bowl ring, and says, "Yeah, I'm done."
I'd be down for that.
So
That would be incredible.
yep.
Daphnis, who's your Super Bowl NFC team?
Yeah.
You've
Don't
got
worry,
them.
we only said good things about your Vikings while you're gone.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. As a bunch of Bears fans, fucking riding high on Chicago this year. Let's see. Yeah, no, she's in trouble right now. So, I mean, I'm probably just gonna say run it back with the Rams. I mean, I don't know. I don't see anybody else in the NFC. Bills, I'm gonna say AFC. If were we doing both, or are you just asking for NFC?
Yeah.
And then who's your Super Bowl winner?
Who's your Super Bowl champion?
Buffalo this year.
Buffalo.
Ooh.
So we have Buffalo.
But I like the Chargers up there. I think I overheard Brady saying in L.A., Los Angeles Super Bowl. Like I said, I'm very, very, very high on Herbert and Mike Williams, and especially Mike Williams as well.
Yeah.
So
we
Well,
have.
I picked Buffalo, so yours is wrong for the record, too. As a result, just because I picked them.
So we have Buffalo,
Gotcha.
Buffalo, Buccaneers, Chargers. Is that what we have?
Yep.
Okay. Lock it in. We'll
it
check,
in.
check back in 17 weeks or 18 weeks, and we'll see how.
Well, hey, let's do something real quick. Let's run down the Week 1 games,
Sure.
and let's see, since they're coming up here.
Oh yeah.
Let's see what sticks out. Let's see. We don't have to go through every game. I don't think we need
How
to do that.
How about Deafness's Super Bowl to kick off the season? Isn't it Bills Rams Week 1?
Rams.
Kick the season
Yeah, I
off?
think it is.
Thursday night football. That's literally
Tomorrow night.
two
Thursday.
days.
Yeah.
Yep. Thursday night.
Yep. Bills Rams games in L.A.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
I heard
like you
John
guys brought up the
5-0
Niners,
versus
Bears,
Week 1.
Packers, Vikes, Week
You wanna say-
1,
the-
Niners, Bears,
The Bills are
Bucks,
game too.
Cowboys, Chargers, Raiders. We're gonna get a taste of that Derek Carr and see what he's gonna do with Adams late game against
What
those
a
Chargers.
terrible Monday night game.
Well,
Broncos Seahawks. I mean, I guess it's revenge for Russell, but it's
in Seattle.
Yeah,
in Seattle.
they could be a blowout though.
They're going to be blowing Russell Wilson the whole game, too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but
Chiefs, Cardinals.
It
I
might be
don't
a
really see
blowout,
that
though.
being close.
If you had to pick one upset Week 1, who are you taking?
Let me see. That's a good question.
Boy, maybe Cowboy. No, maybe Dallas in Dallas against the Bucks Sunday night. Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't say Jags beating the Commanders would be a upset. Boy, I don't see the Steelers beating the Bengals. Lions beating your Eagles? No, I don't know. Maybe. Doubt it.
I don't know. I think Brady touched on this before, but possibly that Week 1 Bears 49ers.
Niners, maybe.
I think in Chicago, Trey Lance first ever start.
Yeah, and I'm saying that could be a nice little upset.
And the spread's 7. It's tied for the biggest spread of any game.
Look at Balls' smile. Ever since Brady's been talking about the Bears having a winning season, Balls just had a different demeanor to him, like the last hour or half hour, whatever it's been.
I had to coax that answer out.
Yeah.
But the Bears are what plus 6.5. So I mean that's not really a bad play there. If you're a betting person.
Yeah.
20-17 Bears.
There you go. All right. I don't know. You guys got anything else? Anything up bet side, Nate? You want to touch on?
I mean like I look at it right now. Like the Eagles only got 3.5 point favorites. Like that's kind of low. That probably be one I look at. Probably the Bears at plus 6.5. That'd be a nice one to sprinkle some money on.
Again, guys, MVP wise, like we brought it up, we talked about it. Like myself, I wouldn't be shy to put some money on Herbert, plus 1,000 or 900, whatever it is, for MVP. I can see him competing with Allen. I don't know, and Brady's kind of got some of those feels as far as at least the team, being a tough team. I think he mentioned 12 wins maybe. So, but yeah.
I got one more thing before I'm out.
Okay.
Congrats to Brady and the newly married wife. I don't know her name. I apologize for that, but congratulations. There's a few times I smiled
Sarah.
because I saw the ring on the camera. So
Yes.
Congrats.
It's very weird. It was funny though because we went to Maui for our honeymoon, so we were out in Hawaii, and we walked into one of the shops, and the guy sees me playing with my ring, and he just looks and he goes, "So how's the honeymoon going?" And I was like, "How do you know that?" He goes, I've been here for 30 years," and I was like, "All right, that makes sense."
That's awesome.
It was fun. We enjoyed it, and I appreciate it. So it's definitely a little
Awesome,
change of scenery. We got a nice apartment in the city now, so
cool.
yeah.
All right, I'm out. See ya.
See you, balls.
All right, balls. So, all right, cool. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you guys got anything else to add?
No.
Nope. I'm
Yeah, no.
excited to see week 1. It's been too long since football's been gone, both college and pro. I'm sure we'll jump into some other stuff too as we get the podcast going. But it's sorry I was a little late tonight, but it's good to jump in and kind of go over some football.
Yeah, no, I mean, I enjoyed it too, guys. Sorry it glitched out earlier.
Oh,
I was surprised that it actually stayed on, because balls and them can't continue to do it, and
Yeah.
I was like, I thought I had to restart it because it was through my thing, but apparently it was still linked. It just because they had connection themselves, but so.
Cool.
But yeah, guys, and another thing, don't forget to leave a comment after the video posts. And again, we'll do like the same thing we did last year with the podcast. We'll draw somebody, etc. We do PayPal, whatever. Auctions are going to be happening again. The problem is I'm in between. Literally almost all my cards are still at the other place. I got to get all that stuff moved out of there and over here. It's not an easy thing to do because I got to rent like a U-Haul truck and it's like an hour drive each way. So it's not like it's like 10 minutes away or I can just swing by any day or every day, without having to drive a distance. But we will get the auctions going.
Yeah, that's one of the things.
I don't think it's going to happen this week, though.
That's one of the things moving into an apartment with Sarah and everything. Like, she obviously super supportive of the hobby, but I didn't want to bring over like boxes and boxes and boxes.
Yeah.
Of stuff.
No, I know.
I was selling stuff off, getting rid of some of my product and stuff, like trying to condense it a little bit so it's not overwhelming.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so guys, so please drop a comment. Again, we appreciate all your guys' support. Hit that thumbs up. Make sure you guys are supporting all these guys too. Make sure you're following them on Twitters, the YouTubes, if they got it, whatever they may be doing. Just make sure you're out there supporting all of them. And we appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. Again, we told you guys this would probably be a long stream. It was a little over 3 hours. Hopefully we gave you a taste of kind of where we're at, where we see things. Hopefully there were some surprises that we had mentioned that maybe gave you some ideas, maybe made you think if you've already done fantasy drafts that, from what our opinions are, you feel more confident in some of those picks that you took or players that you grabbed. And we're looking forward to having a fun season and continuing to grind these out for you guys. They won't be long like this. They'll be probably an hour max, going forward. This is really an in-depth drill down preseason deal. So with that being said, guys, enjoy your Tuesday night and rest of it. And we'll see you guys soon. Everybody take care. Love you guys. Later. Good night.